Chapter 6:18. What? Did I hear wrongly? Did Sister E say the word boyfriend? Shocking. Sister E has a boyfriend? I'm so curious about who Sister Yi's boyfriend is. Haha, Xiang Yin's face turned pale immediately. I feel like he's going to beat someone up with his cane. Shi Sui happened to have gone to the pantry to make tea and was not in the living room. He used his real name on WeChat, and after he was added to the group, Xiang Yin and the others could see it clearly. Old Mr. Fong and the others were fine. Although they felt that it was a pity, they were quite happy for Xiang Yi. However, Xiang Yin was different. Why did little bunny go after a pig? What's so good about Shi Sui? He has a lot of flaws, such as... Xiang Yin struggled for a long time, but he couldn't think of any flaws in Shi Sui. Instead, he felt that Shi Sui had always been gentle, restrained, and well-mannered since he was a child. Stop. Xiang Yin snapped out of his messy thoughts and gritted his teeth. Little bunny, how can you fall in love at such a young age? Xiang Yi said innocently, Grandpa, I'm already 20 years old. Even at 20 years old, you're still in love. She pursed her lips and continued, but you married Grandma when you were 20 years old. Xiang Yin coughed softly. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. At this moment, Shi Sui returned with the tea, which was filled with steam and a faint fragrance. Xiang Yin humphed coldly when he saw him. Old Mr. Fong and the others were sizing him up with a mischievous smile. Shi Sui didn't have his cell phone with him, so he had no idea what was going on. After distributing the tea, he naturally sat beside Xiang Yi. What's the matter? He asked. Xiang Yi blinked and said, He just added my boyfriend to the group. Shi Sui raised his eyebrows and his heart skipped a beat. Her words were extremely ambiguous, and there were already some fans of the untimely couple who were screaming crazily on the bullet screen. Damn it, did I get it? Boyfriend? Is it Shi Ingdi, is it? I don't care, this is an official announcement. There were also some people who didn't want to believe it. Instead, they sneered. Does Xiang Yi have any shame? You already have a boyfriend, why are you still talking to Shi Ingdi like that? Shi Sui isn't a good person either. Heh, men really don't reject women. Don't they think Xiang Yi is dirty? Haven't you heard of the couple on set? They were together during filming and immediately broke up after filming. These two were obviously a variety show couple. The day the variety show ends will definitely be the day they cut ties. In the comments, everyone's analysis was clear and logical, as if they were all psychologists and emotional experts. Until Shi Sui's deep and magnetic voice spread to every corner of the live broadcast room through the sound receiver. What group? Girlfriend. Boom. It was as if a sudden clap of thunder had struck the ground, deafening everyone. What did Shi Ingdi say? Were they hallucinating? Why did they hear him call Xiang Yi girlfriend? At this moment, whether it was Shi Sui Sis, Spicy Tutu, the untimely couple fans, or even the passers-by, they were all shocked. Countless netizens were sharing the news on various major social media platforms. The Two Under One Roof live stream was instantly flooded with a terrifying amount of traffic. The number of online viewers had tied the previous record and was even on the verge of surpassing it. Li Jianyu and the others were dumbfounded. Wander and the others were dumbfounded. The number of comments in the live stream exploded. Netizens from all over the world came to join in the fun. The entire internet went crazy at this moment. Chapter 6:19. F***C, have you heard? Shi Sui and Xiang Yi have officially announced their relationship. Nanny? Shi Sui and Sister E are together. I was dumbfounded. Are these two for real? Oh my god. I got it for real. Aha. The number of online viewers in the live stream went from 8 million to 9 million, and then to 10 million, whoosh. The number of viewers had officially exceeded the 10 million mark, and it was still increasing. This figure was enough to make countless directors, producers, and investors in the industry cry. As for the brands that had sponsored Two Under One Roof and hired Xiang Yi to endorse them, the senior executives were all smiling more brightly than flowers. This show was great. Not only was there a steady flow of traffic, but it was also a hot search topic. From time to time, it would become a hit. It was definitely worth it. The brands couldn't wait to transfer more money over. In the living room, after Shui asked, "What's the group? Girlfriend?" Jianghu generously showed it to Shui. "Here, it's the group that joined Grandpa and Master just now." Shui nodded slightly. "I'll change the name then." The group name was changed to A Loving Family. The camera happened to take a close-up of her phone and captured the group name. All of a sudden, the netizens expressed, "Are you there? Is Sister E spying on my life?" "Ha, our group name is the same. It's exactly the same. I love my family requests to fight. The X family will never admit defeat. We're a family." Shui and Sister Yi's child has already learned how to play. In the next second, Shui, who had changed her name, sent a message in the group. Shui, rose handshake and fist salute. Shui, cheers to our friendship. JPG, Shui, let's hold each other's hand on the internet. Cherish this fate. JPG, when the netizens saw this scene, they slowly typed a question mark. Shui, did you just blink when your account was hacked? What the hell is with this middle-aged man's style? To their surprise, old Mr. Fong and the others developed a strong interest in Shui's meme. "Hey, Shui, why did you send this picture? Little, it seems like you're good at chatting. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad." Hearing the praises of the three Chinese medicine masters, everyone felt a little dazed. Could this be the legendary halo that attracts the elders? Shui warmly explained how to save the stickers and how to send them. He was very patient. Not only did he explain in detail, but he also helped each old man save the stickers and showed them how to send them on the spot. Even Xiang, who was the most arrogant, couldn't help but sneak a few glances at her while silently memorizing the steps. Xiang, 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 S to Xiang, 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 Xiang. Shui asked modestly and gently, "Grandpa, can I help you save the meme?" Xiang's grandfather's ears twitched, but he retorted fiercely, "No need." Shui said, Yes, 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 it's not that you need it. I just want to train myself more. Actually, I've only just learned how to send memes." Xiang's grandfather glanced at him sideways and asked, "So you don't know how to do it either?" Shui smiled a little sheepishly, as if he had just learned how to surf the internet. Xiang's grandfather finally said benevolently, "Okay, since you're begging me to save it, I'll reluctantly agree." Chapter 620. Shui looked down and tapped the screen with his slender fingers in a bid to save an emoji for Xiang. He whispered and taught Xiang how to use it. His logic was clear and organized, and Xiang was gradually mesmerized by it. In the live stream, the netizens cheered in unison. "Hey, Shui is so good at speaking." Chashing, he's so good at pleasing the elders. I can't help it. Shui is so good at speaking. I've recorded the screen and I'm about to forward it to the group chat. After a while, Xiang and the others had all learned how to send emojis. The four of them began to compete with each other in the group chat. The few old men, who were about 200 to 300 years old in total, were staring intently at the screen and playing seriously, which was rather hilarious. On the other hand, Shui smirked at Xiang from afar. Finally, she gave him a status. Xiang made eye contact with him, and there was no need for words between them. They already knew what each other was thinking. The cheerful voice of the system sounded in her mind. "Ding, it has been detected that you have completed the hidden task, official announcement. The following rewards are issued to you, 1,000 points and a plot change card." Xiang frowned and asked, "Plot change card?" "Yes, you can choose to change a part of the plot of any character in the book. In other words, you can change a person's fate. If it were anyone else, they would probably be unable to resist using such a tempting card." However, Xiang simply expressed assent indifferently and said, "Keep it for now." Number 1018 couldn't help but ask, "Host, aren't you going to consider using it?" Not only can you change the fate of others, you can also change your own. Why should I change my fate? Jianghu said indifferently. I don't believe in fate, I only believe in myself. Number 1018 said. Because in the book, Best Actor of the Entertainment Industry, you don't have a good ending. Is that so? Number 1018 said, you didn't have this authority initially, but I've gotten it for you. Next, I'll unlock your script of fate. With a ding, a large piece of information was transmitted to Jianghu's mind. In the plot sent by the system, she followed the trajectory of her life and got engaged to someone. In the end, she was betrayed and her family was ruined by her fiancé. Seeing her brothers die in a fire because of her, Jianghu's fingertips curled up and trembled slightly. But she quickly calmed down. It couldn't be true. Even if she was blinded by love, her brothers would not be so stupid. There must be something wrong with this so-called original work. She asked calmly, so I have to conquer Shui in order to change my fate? That's right. Shui is the male lead of this world. He has the halo of a male lead, and the will of this world will side with him unconditionally. Jianghu looked at Shui thoughtfully. Even if the system had human-like thoughts, it was not a real person after all. It had algorithmic logic. Therefore, as long as they followed the correct path, they could deduce their motives. The clues started to connect. Binding the system, conquering Shui, rewriting fate, all of this had something to do with Shui. Maybe the system wasn't targeting her, but it was directed at Shui. Number 1018 was still guiding her patiently. Host, do you really not want to consider using a card? Or you can use points to exchange for items. I recommend you to use the beautifying filter. It can help you become more beautiful. No need. Jianghu coldly refused. I remember that points can be given away, right? Help me give them to Lingyi. The noisy number 1018 suddenly fell into silence. Chapter 621. Jianghu narrowed her eyes. What's wrong? Is there a problem? After a few seconds, number 1018 politely said, Host, the Lingyi you're talking about is someone from this world. You need to know his real name before you can give him points. The next second, Jianghu said, Su Yi. Number 1018 was shocked. It didn't expect Jianghu to know Ling Ye's real name. Why would Ling Yi tell her this? It quickly calculated the consequences if Jianghu knew that Ling Yi had been killed. After thinking for a while, number 1018 finally decided to lie. Host, the points have been given to you. Thank you. Please turn on the shielding mode. Am I being despised again? Jianghu's heart sank after she was done with the test. The prerequisite for giving out points was that the other party's soul had to be alive. However, she couldn't be sure if the system would lie or not. Sister E, my hand feels much better. Wonder's surprised voice pulled Jianghu back to reality. She calmed herself down and looked at Wonder's hand. Just now, Elder Yun gave him a massage, Elder Jing gave him 2 needles, and Elder Fong wrapped him with a wrist guard wrapped with medicinal herbs. He didn't know what was added in it, but it automatically heated up and wrapped around his wrist. In just a short while, Wonder already felt that his wrist had recovered. Jianghu said softly, It's just a relief, not a cure. I think it'll take a long time for you to be completely healed. Wonder became nervous again. He thought it would take 3 to 5 years or even longer. His career wouldn't last that long. The young girl's face tensed up as she said earnestly, I'll be able to recover 90% in 3 months. Wonder. The other players? Only 3 months. Jianghu saw that they were all dumbfounded. She thought it was because they thought it was too long. She clenched her fists and said, Then I'll work harder and strive for 2.5 months? If it's 2 months, I'm afraid it'll be a little difficult, but we can still give it a try. Wonder was so happy that he almost fainted. It was as if he had drunk 2 liters of fake wine. It's okay. 3 months is good enough. I can do it. I will cooperate fully. Elder Fong and the others were very pleased. What doctors were most afraid of was not difficult and complicated diseases, but that the patient would not cooperate with them after painstakingly researching a treatment plan. Young man, don't worry. We'll do our best. Wonder was terrified and thanked him profusely. Jianghu looked at the time. It was almost time for dinner. She stood up and said, the original plan was to eat hot pot. What do you think? Should we hold a vote? Or should I cook a few more dishes? To others, it was troublesome, but to her, it was sweet as syrup. Everyone said, no need, no need. Hot pot is fine. Jianghu nodded. Then I'll make a few 9-grid dishes and prepare more ingredients. Everyone can cook whatever you want. Just as she was about to enter the kitchen, she was stopped by Elder Fong and the others. Elder Fong said, Disciple, I've asked someone to cook some bird's nest. Drink it first. Elder Yun said, My dear disciple, it's been hard on you. Come, I've brought you some supplements. You can eat them when you have nothing to do. Elder Jing secretly cursed the 2 old men for secretly sending gifts. He refused to admit defeat and said, I've also prepared some herbs for you. You can use them to make wine or medicine. The netizens were confused. Why did these old men look more and more like kindergartners competing with each other? Chapter 622. Xiang Yin was displeased to hear that. He took out a card from his pocket and said, Recording shows every day is tiring. Give yourself a day off and don't come back until you've spent all the money on this card. The netizens were dumbfounded. When can I have such a simple and unpretentious grandfather? Indeed, regardless of gender, age, or gender, they all look so handsome when they take out their cards. I'm so envious of Sister E. She has her brother doting on her, her grandfather doting on her, and a few big bosses as her masters. Don't forget that she has an award-winning boyfriend. Smile. Xiangyi had no choice but to drink the bird's nest soup from Old Master Fong and accept the gifts from Old Master Yun and Old Master Jing, as well as the black and gold card from Old Master Fong. She entered the kitchen and Shui followed her. The number of viewers, which had initially stagnated, began to rise again. The 2 of them were in the same room. Li Jinyu personally went to the kitchen to film. Although he had long expected it, he was still so excited that his hands trembled a little when he heard that Sister Yi and Shui were really together. It took him a long time to calm down. I'll prepare the soup base first. I'll wash and peel the vegetables then. Be careful with your hands. The interaction between the 2 of them was beyond many people's expectations. It wasn't that grand. On the contrary, they were like an old couple, plain yet warm. Xiangyi would help Shui put on a cute lace apron, while Shui would lower his head and carefully roll up Xiangyi's sleeves for her. He even helped her tie her hair into 2 buns. I look like Neza, Xiangyi said as she turned her head. Shui pinched her left bun and said, You're very cute. Such a simple daily interaction caused the netizens to flood the screen with comments. She's so sweet, I'm dying of sweetness. Head-pressing team, move out. Kiss her. Shui, can you do it? Do you think I'm lacking in popularity? Give me something that's not suitable for children, okay? The 2 of them went to prepare the ingredients separately and occasionally communicated with each other. They didn't talk much, but they didn't feel awkward. It was a very comfortable way of getting along. However, Li Jinyu did not let the 2 of them off and conducted a short interview. She asked Xiangyi first, How is Sister E feeling right now? Xiangyi's answer could be said to be a straightforward woman. I'm going to eat hot pot. I'm happy. Li Jinyu. And? After all, Shui and I have already made our relationship public. The girl raised her head and solemnly promised the camera, I will treat him well and spoil him like a little prince. Why do I feel like Sister E took the male lead script? Li Jinyu laughed out loud. Most of the viewers in the bullet screen were overwhelmed by the sweetness, but a small number of Shui sisters couldn't accept the reality. I'm no longer a fan. I can't be a fan anymore. I'm too tired, such a bootlicker? That's true, if she didn't lick Ingdi's boots, why would he care about her? Looks like the vase fairy is taking the initiative. It's easy for a girl to chase a guy. Ingdi is just interested in her for a while. He'll kick her away sooner or later. It was Li Jinyu's turn to interview Shui. Daddy is there anything you'd like to say? Shui was peeling potatoes with a peeler. His slender and fair hands were like a work of art, but at this moment, They were stained with the aura of the mortal world. Peeling potatoes is much more difficult than acting. Li Jianyu. Birds of a feather flock together. How does it feel to have an official announcement with Sister E? The man had an excellent sense of the camera. He raised his eyes and smiled with his peach blossom eyes, looking affectionate and affectionate. Thank you, Sister E, for finally giving me a proper status. Hello everyone, I'm actor Shi Sui. Me too. I'm Xiangyi's boyfriend, Shi Sui. Chapter 623. This smile really gave off a feeling that the surrounding scenery was full of color and fragrance. It was breathtaking and mesmerizing. It was a powerful and shocking blow to the heart. The netizens seemed to have gone crazy as they flooded the screen with comments. He, give birth to a child soon and have a blissful marriage for 100 years. Sure Ingdi's attitude? So it's not a woman chasing a man, but a man chasing a woman. Are you there? When will Sister E give me a status too? I'm willing to be one of the 3,000 beauties in your harem. Not to mention the netizens, even Li Jianyu's hand, which was holding the camera, couldn't help but tremble. Coquettish, too coquettish. As expected of my daddy, sure. He teased. Daddy, you'll probably have a new name in the future. Sister Yi's boyfriend. Xiangyi put down the peppercorns in her hand, turned her face, and said seriously, Shi Sui is Shi Sui, and he is him. Li Jianyu was stunned. Ruan Qing chimed in time and said in an elegant and intellectual female voice, That's right, Shi Sui is still Shi Sui, and Sister E is still Sister E. What has changed is that, and, have become three. Shi Sui chuckled. Yes, it's we. The tips of Xiangyi's ears were a little red. She tried to cover up her embarrassment by pouring the peppercorns. However, the girl who could toss an iron pot of dozens of kilograms without trembling had accidentally poured too much peppercorns. She pretended as if nothing had happened and scooped out the extra peppercorns, but this scene did not escape the eyes of the netizens. Look at Sister Yi's ears. They're red. My heart is melting. Why is my daughter so cute even when she's shy? Wow, whose voice is that? It sounds so good actually. I know Director Li doesn't mean any harm, but that female voice just now seemed to have sublimated the concept. At this moment, Miao TV. The executives gathered in the conference room. They didn't want to admit it, but they had to. They were witnessing the birth of a miracle. The number of online viewers of Two Under One Roof had already exceeded 13 million. Not only was such a figure unprecedented, it was almost certain that it would be difficult to surpass it in the future. So Li Jianyu was from Miao TV. Ruan Qing was also from Miao TV. If they had stayed, wouldn't this glory belong to the TV tower? Unfortunately, there were no ifs in this world. The numbers in the live stream were still rising, but the executives in the conference room were not happy. Especially after hearing Ruan Qing's words, many people secretly acknowledged her ability. Speaking of which, although Ruan Qing is a woman, she is indeed quite capable. Once she left, she took a lot of our connections with her. Several of our collaborations with Nanqing TV have been suspended. They said that they will only recognize her and not anyone else. I agreed to Li Jianyu's proposal back then. Sigh, it's such a pity. Who asked some people to cause our TV station to suffer so much for their own selfish interests? Where there were workplaces, there were often factions. Miao TV was the same. Several factions fought with each other and finally focused their firepower on a certain minister. It was he who rejected Li Jianyu's proposal and instructed Director Chen to plagiarize Li Jianyu's show. Unfortunately, whether it was the heartbeat signal or eating well for all 3 meals, they were just imitations that made a fool of themselves. You can write your resignation letter now. Chapter 624. No, the man's face was ashen, but he knew that in a sense, his career had come to an end. And all of this was because he had dug his own grave. He looked at the station head with resentment. The station head was clearly at fault too, so why was he the only one who left? Some people were also secretly dissatisfied. Li Jianyu's matter was still acceptable, but Ruan Qing's departure could be said to be all because of the station head. Did he not have to pay any price? The next second, the door of the conference room was pushed open. It was a notice from the higher-ups. Content: the station head of Muyao satellite TV station will be replaced. In an instant, there was an uproar. The station head who had just fired someone else was stunned. He never expected that he would be fired too. At the manor, the preparation of the hot pot might be difficult for others, but for Jianghu, it was like a fish in water. Firstly, Little Rabbit Farm was rich in produce. Secondly, Jianghu had all the seasonings that could be bought on the market. Thirdly, there was soup stock at home, which did not lose out to the taste of the old restaurants. Soon, Jianghu prepared a few large pots of soup base. In the double-sided pot, there was beef chili and tomato soup. In the 4-square grid, there were wild mushrooms, seafood, green pepper chili, and clear soup. As for the 9-square grid, it was a traditional Sichuan-style spicy pot. It followed the principle of same base with different fire, same soup without oil. The temperature of each pot was different. The middle grid had a strong fire, which was suitable for cooking crispy and easy-to-cook food. The cross grid had a weaker fire, but the fire was even, which was suitable for cooking food that needed to be heated for a long time. The 4-square grid had a mild fire, which was suitable for slow stewing, which made the food soft and glutinous. The younger members of Team Logic took the initiative to help clear out a few tables. There were many people today, but their ages varied. Jianghu did not force everyone to sit at the same table. Instead, she let everyone choose according to their preferences. In the end, a few of the younger members chose the 9-square grid. The youths were not particular about it. They sat cross-legged around the coffee table, sweating from the hot pot. The others chose the double-sided pot and sat at the table by the floor-to-ceiling window. There was the scenery outside, and inside, there was the company of friends, as well as Director Li, who had sneaked in to freeload, the netizens complained. They had never seen a director who could eat so much. Are you here to film a variety show or to eat? On the other hand, Jianghu, old Mr. Fong, Grandpa, and the others ate 4 servings of food. Sure Sui accompanied them the entire time and didn't eat much himself. Instead, he was like a waiter, silently cooking for everyone at the table. In the beginning, everyone thought that hot pot was all about the atmosphere and not the taste. But when the cooked ingredients entered the mouth, **ck, this mutton was too tender and fresh. Why was this tripe so crispy and smooth? And this black-boned chicken roll, after soaking in the wild mushroom soup, it's so fragrant. In addition, the sesame sauce was fragrant but not greasy, the shacha sauce was sweet, spicy, and salty, and the chili powder was spicy and delicious. Jianghu had even prepared a few secret seasonings. It was delicious even when it was dipped in plain water, not to mention when it was paired with such delicious soup base and ingredients. Yes. The younger brothers moved their chopsticks like the wind, and Director Li snatched the food even faster. As soon as the ingredients were cooked, they were immediately divided up. Even though Grandpa Fong and the others were experienced and knowledgeable, they were still convinced by Jianghu's hot pot. Elder Yun said, "My beloved disciple, why don't you come back with me? I can teach you medical skills." Elder Jing said, "My good disciple, ignore him. How can I let you run around and tire yourself out? I can come to your house to teach." Grandpa Fong stroked his beard, satisfied with the food, and said slowly, "My disciple, I've been looking for a place where I can study medicine in peace. I wonder if you're willing to let me stay for a few days?" Elder Yun and Elder Jing were speechless. But, men, shameless. Chapter 625. Originally, I thought you were the most noble, but I didn't expect you to be so shameless. The netizens watching the live stream couldn't stop laughing. Our sister E is really popular with the elders. Haha, these grandfathers are so cute. Shocking. To think that the top 3 medical experts in China would do such a thing for a young girl? Good guy. I won't read any of the headlines without you in the future. Elder Jing sneered, "You have so many disciples, why do you insist on my good disciple? Do you think my obedient disciple is easy to bully?" Elder Fong smiled again. "But, are you jealous that I have students all over the world? Old Jing, you've only accepted Jianghu as your disciple after so many years. You should reflect on yourself." Elder Jing, ? Taking a sip of the mushroom soup, Elder Yun teased, those who don't know would think that you're homeless and can't even find a place to study medicine. Elder Fong smiled. Wherever my disciple is, that's where my home is. Elder Yun, ? All right, little brother, you're awesome. To hold one's fist, just as old Mr. Fong was feeling smug, he heard Xiang Yin humping coldly. Did you ask for my permission to take Xiang Yi in as your disciple? The three of them felt guilty. Some netizens were puzzled. Xiang Yi's grandfather, your words are too harsh. It's your granddaughter's blessing that the three big shots have taken her in. Why are you blaming them? Someone immediately came out to explain. If other people say this, it's called having no EQ and no brain. But there's really nothing wrong with Xiang Yin's words. I suggest you go and find out more about Xiang Yin's life. Although he's about the same age as old Mr. Fong and the others, he has a high seniority in the traditional Chinese medicine industry and his medical skills are superb. To put it bluntly, even old Mr. Fong has to address him as Uncle Master. The netizens were in a daze. It turns out, the arrogant old man is actually a hidden king? The Xiang clan's genes were worthy of respect. Facing Xiang Yin's sharp gaze, Elder Jing's gaze flickered while Elder Yun's hands trembled slightly. Even Elder Fong could not maintain his composure. I'm already in my 60s. What's wrong with taking in a disciple? Elder Jing began to act shamelessly. Ahem, Elder Xiang, aren't we nurturing good seedlings for the Chinese medicine industry? Elder Yun said in a dignified manner. Elder Fong pondered for a moment and actually tried to worm his way into being friends. Old Xiang, we're all brothers. Your granddaughter is our granddaughter, and your little rabbit is our little rabbit. Don't you think so? Xiang Yin was speechless. What the hell? Who are you calling old Xiang? Elder Yun and Elder Jing instantly felt deep respect for Elder Fong. Brother, you're a dead man. The interaction between the elderly group attracted countless people's laughter. Xiang Yi sat at the side and smiled obediently. Shi Sui poured tea for the elders and did not forget to use the serving chopsticks to pick up Xiang Yi's favorite duck blood and bean sprouts. Xiang Yi's eyes curved into crescents as she picked up Shi Sui's favorite bamboo shoots for him. In the dense water vapor, the two of them looked at each other and smiled. The world seemed to brighten and warm. The years were peaceful and life was peaceful. Nothing more than this. Countless people took screenshots of this scene and circulated it on the internet for many years to come. The fans of the untimely couple were so excited that they screamed in the comments section. Get married on the spot. I believe in love again. I'm back. Shi Sui is my husband, and Sister E is my wife. What's wrong with my husband and wife being together? Shi Sui's sister and Spicy Tutu, who were crying, saw this, huh? There seems to be nothing wrong with it? Chapter 626. The two groups of fans accepted the reality in a trance. The comment was screenshotted by a netizen and submitted to a commenter. Once it was posted, it attracted the attention of countless silly netizens. Is there something wrong with him? There's nothing wrong with him. I wish my husband and wife 99 dog heads. With all due respect, I advise Shi Sui and Xiang Yi not to be so ungrateful. Go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get your marriage certificate. Don't force them to kneel down and beg you to get married, okay? After lunch, the group of energetic young men took the initiative to do farm work while Old Master Fong and the others argued over the choice of a room. After Old Master Fong took the lead, Old Master Yun and Old Master Jing also expressed their desire to stay. The group of old men who were almost 200 years old began to roll up their sleeves while arguing. I saw this room first. Bullshit. I was the one who saw it first. Huh, did you write your names on it? Xiang Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She tried her best to mediate between them and finally appeased her three masters. When she turned around, she realized that her grandfather was angry. She hurriedly coaxed him. After calling him Grandpa sweetly a few times, Xiang Yin finally looked a little better. He stroked the handle of his walking stick and said seriously, their medical skills are just assisted. If there's anything they don't know, they can just ask me. In the entire traditional Chinese medicine industry, There were very few people who dared to say that. Xiangyi began to flatter him softly. I know, Grandpa, you're the best person in the world. Xiang Yin tried his best to keep a straight face, but he was still coaxed happily. He couldn't help but grin smugly. So, they're not very good. They just know a little about it. In the live stream, Xiang Yin is so pretentious. I'm calling him an expert. A little about it? I'm a medical student. I'm kneeling down to you. It's good to see a side of the big shots that no one knows about. It's not that they're good at it, it's because of Sister E. How can an ordinary variety show director invite such an impressive guest? After coaxing Xiang Yin, Xiangyi was thinking about the menu for dinner when she suddenly saw old Master Fang and the other two masters coming out one after another with grave expressions. Disciple, Master has an urgent matter and needs to go out for a while. I'll leave these prescriptions for you to study slowly. My beloved disciple, you can take a look at these recipes when you're free. Elder Fang and Elder Yun stuffed a few books into Xiangyi's hands. The young girl's face was blank and uneasy. Good disciple. Elder Jing's temper was the most eccentric and his words were also poisonous. But in front of Xiangyi he was a kind and cute little old man. Master has nothing to give you. Keep these notes well. A few more books appeared in the girl's hands. As soon as he finished speaking, the three of them didn't waste any more words and left. They were old and their backs were not as straight as before, but their temperament was even more upright than a pine tree. However, for some reason, it was tainted with a desolate atmosphere. It was as if they weren't the ones who were arguing over the room. There was a lot of discussion in the live broadcast room. Why does it feel like the three big shots are entrusting their children to her? You guys are thinking too much. You've probably come to your senses and think that Xiangyi is just so. There are still people who are slandering Sister E? I suggest you consult a psychiatrist. If you don't use your brain, you can donate it to someone who needs it. Xiang Yin frowned and vaguely guessed something. He gently stroked his obedient and gentle granddaughter's head. Tutu, if you want to learn, just don't. Don't tire yourself out. Eat well and sleep well. Just be well. Grandpa is going out for a while. He sighed and continued, you don't have to wait for me to come back. Chapter 627. It had been a few minutes since Xiang Yin left, but Xiangyi was still standing rooted to the ground without moving a single step. She subconsciously dug her nails into her palms and forced herself to calm down to speculate about what had happened. Actually, it wasn't that hard to guess. A word popped up in her mind. Xiangyi closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, she gestured for the cameraman to stop filming. Although old Zhang was puzzled, he still turned off the camera. Xiangyi first went to the director's office to explain the situation to Li Jianyu. So, I might not be able to participate in the live stream anymore. Li Jianyu was dumbfounded. Sister E, you don't want to reconsider? Yuan Qing was much calmer. She asked, have you made up your mind? Xiangyi nodded. As expected of our Sister E. Yuan Qing smiled and pinched Xiangyi's little face. Go ahead, be careful. We'll all be here waiting for you to come back. Xiangyi pursed her lips. She had never liked to cause trouble for others, but now, she had no choice but to cause trouble for the entire production crew. There were so many things that she wanted to say, but she was at a loss for words. In the end, she said gently, thank you. Li Jianyu reacted and said, hey, Sister E, why are you thanking us? We should be thanking you instead. To be honest, without you, this show might not have been able to get off the ground. If it weren't for Sister E, Mr. Sher wouldn't have agreed to participate in the live stream at all. Even if Daddy Sher agreed, Two Under One Roof would never have become the Two Under One Roof it was today without Xiangyi. It was the two of them who created this miracle in the history of variety shows. Yuan Qing's focus was more detailed. She asked gently, have you told Sher Sui about your decision? Xiangyi answered. She hesitated for a moment and asked, how should I coax him? Li Jianyu said, this involves a blind spot in my knowledge. Yuan Qing said, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about this. The only one who can do it is Sister E. There was a look of confusion in her eyes. After a moment, she encouraged herself. I'll try. Shi Sui received a message from Xiangyi, asking him to go back to his room. He did as he was told. Closing the door, the young actor looked down at the chat box. Xiangyi's profile picture had never changed. It was a chubby cartoon bunny. It was said that it was designed by Xiang Qi. Sangchen, Xiang Li, Xiang Yu, and the others had all made a few changes. It could be said that all of them participated in drawing it for his sister. He waited for a while, but there was no response. Shi Sui tapped the screen with her fingertips, and a simple and clean input method popped up. In the next second, there was a rustling sound from the balcony. He saw the young girl holding the partition with one hand and flipping over with ease. She was both valiant and handsome. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows and walked to the balcony quietly. It was the first time that Xiangyi had done something like flipping over the balcony. She had an inexplicable guilty conscience. She took 2 deep breaths, turned around and bumped into the man's warm and broad arms. The young girl raised her small face slightly. Her doe eyes were clear, as if they were filled with moonlight. Shi Sui, she called out softly. In this world, countless people had called his name, but no one had called him as gently and softly as she had. His heart palpitated. Shi Sui grabbed her small hand and wiped the dust off it carefully and patiently. I'm going on a long trip because I'm worried about Grandpa, Xiangyi said with some difficulty. Her hand was suddenly held tightly. Are you coming back? Shi Sui asked in a hoarse voice. Xiangyi wavered for a moment. Chapter 628. But it was only for a moment. The girl was calm as usual, but her heart was full of guilt. I'm sorry. Shi Sui stared at her quietly for a long time. I'll wait for you. These 3 words were his promise. Xiangyi's nose was sore, and she tried to smile. Is there anything you want to eat? You can make a list for me. The wind blew, and 2 strands of the man's hair fell back. His eyes were deep, and the curve of his peach blossom eyes was slightly sharp. As if he was afraid of scaring Xiangyi, his long black eyelashes drooped, hiding the unfathomable emotions in his eyes. He whispered, Sister E, I just want you to eat well. I will. Then when you come back, I'll cook instant noodles for you. His slightly calloused fingers rubbed the girl's thin wrist. The kind with cheese, ham, pickles, crab steak, fish tofu. Junk food? Xiangyi said seriously. I like it the most. Remove the first half of the sentence. Huh. Suddenly, the man closed the distance between them. The height difference brought about a sense of oppression. He faced the light, and his edges and corners were blurred, gentle and clear. Shi Sui's voice was husky and magnetic. Sister E coax me, okay? He was afraid that he would not be able to control himself. It was not difficult to make her stay. He had even had more paranoid thoughts than this. Just like what his father did to his mother, locking her up, trapping her, and monopolizing her, but those dark and paranoid thoughts were all suppressed by him. Because in that case, Tutu would be sad. Xiangyi's ears were hot, but she followed his wishes and said gently, Shi Sui, I like you the most. After a while, Shi Sui sighed in a low voice. It's worth it, he said. 1 word from her was enough. Xiangyi said, take good care of yourself. If you don't want to cook, order takeout. If you don't want to broadcast, slack off. If the guests are annoying, ignore them. Anyway, don't make yourself suffer. Shi Sui stood there silently. She was even more stunning than a meticulously photographed pictorial. And, Shi Sui thought that she still had something to say, but her neck was suddenly wrapped around by the little girl. Then there was a smacking sound. A light kiss landed on his jaw. Shi Sui couldn't help laughing. Girlfriend, are you trying to take advantage of me before you leave? Xiangyi was puzzled. Does kissing my boyfriend count as taking advantage of him? My husband doesn't count. Xiangyi came back to her senses and cleared her throat. You're quite far-sighted. Prepare for a rainy day. Unexpectedly, the little girl's next sentence was, I think I'm thinking even further than you. I'm secretly thinking about our future children. What should we name them? Shi Sui was slightly stunned. So, she had thought about their future? Xiangyi, who had spoken her mind, was so shy that she tried to slip away with her hands and feet, but the man grabbed her collar. Whoosh! The fair and slender girl was pressed against the wall of the balcony. The hand around her waist suddenly tightened, and what followed was a warm and passionate touch. Thump, thump, thump. The heartbeat, the dazzling sunlight, the faint fragrance of flowers, the sour mood, the hot body temperature, and everything that made her dizzy and confused. Shui's voice was hoarse as he spoke softly and softly. "I'll let you take advantage of me, okay?" At the same time, in the director's office, Li Jianyu, who came back after smoking a cigarette, suddenly realized that although Jianghu had stopped filming, she had forgotten to turn off her microphone. At this moment, the number of online viewers in the live stream had reached an astonishing number, 20 million. Chapter 629. I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh. I'm going to say it 10,000 times. Untimely is real. KSWL. What kind of sweet biscuit is in the entertainment industry? I'm smiling like an ant in front of the screen. What are the major brands waiting for? Hurry and sponsor Shui's sister Yi's wedding. At this moment, the fans of the untimely CP were in a frenzy, and the netizens were the most excited to watch the show. They dominated the hot search list on Weibo, from 1 to 10. Hashtag Shui and Jianghu hashtag Jianghu forgot to turn off the microphone hashtag untimely is real hashtag what's a good name for the child hashtag 2 under one roof sets a new record hashtag. The passers-by were dumbfounded when they saw the hot search list at first. After clicking on it, they realized that there wasn't even a video and that it was just an audio clip. However, after listening to the edited version, Sister E coaxed me, huh? Shui, I like you the most. I'll let you take advantage of me, okay? The passers-by were flabbergasted. Damn it. Why is it so sweet? Hubby honey, you must be happy. If I commit a crime, the law will punish me, not Shui and Jianghu. No, I can't take it anymore. There's a blister at the corner of my mouth. It took me a long time to heal, but now that I'm smiling, it's going to split open again. In the director's office, Li Jianyu was dumbfounded for a few seconds, and he frantically cut off the live stream. It would have been better if he hadn't cut off the live stream. The public opinion had completely exploded. All the netizens began to imagine. I don't lack this bit of traffic. Continue. Let me continue listening. Director Li, if you dare to continue the live stream, I'll dare to call you Daddy. Daddy, I'm kneeling down in front of you. Look at me. That sound just now was a kiss, right? So, it won't be an M next? Damn it, I'm already imagining a family of 3 live stream together. Sister E is cooking, Shui is nurturing the baby, and Xiao Naofu and little Shiji showing their affection. It's so perfect. In the director's office, Li Jianyu muttered, this is considered a live broadcast accident, right? The others were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Usually, there would be people keeping an eye on him. It was really a coincidence just now. In those 2 minutes, everyone happened to go out. That was why this accident happened. Ruan Qing was the calmest among all of them. She gave out orders in an orderly manner. Soon, everyone returned to their respective positions. Someone restarted the live stream and switched the camera to the younger brother of Team Logic. Someone contacted the public relations team to discuss emergency response strategies. There were also people who were responsible for keeping an eye on the public opinion online in real time, as well as various statistics in the live stream. Not long after, a weak voice came from the corner. Director Li Jianyu was extremely nervous. What happened? WWE just broke the record? All the data has reached the peak since the start of the live broadcast. Everyone in the program team gathered around. When they saw the astonishing 20 million online viewers at the peak, it could be said that men were silent and women were crying. Li Jianyu was dumbfounded. This works too? He had once thought that he would never be able to reach the data, but he had achieved it just like that. Ruan Qing was also silent for more than 10 seconds. She exhaled and said, perhaps this accident was not a mistake, but a blessing from the heavens. Time, fate, and luck. Strength and luck combined to form a miracle. While the entire internet was celebrating, the people in the industry were paying attention to something else. From today onwards, Two Under One Roof would be completely recorded in the history of variety shows. It had become a god. Chapter 630. For a moment, many people felt upset. Some were emotional, some were envious, and some were jealous. However, they were no longer disdainful. As for Muyao TV, it was once again brought up for ridicule. Buying the casket and returning the pearls? How ridiculous. After forcing Li Jianyu and Ruan Qing away, I even secretly copied their idea. In the end, I still got beaten up. Now that eating well for all 3 meals was going downhill, Zhuyi and Jianghu were not as popular as before after the failure of the last live stream and the scandal. There were rumors in the industry that Muyao TV had come to terms with reality and had begun planning a new live stream variety show. Although they would not give up on eating well for all 3 meals, they would not give more resources to it. The loyal fans of Two Under One Roof were overjoyed when they found out that their treasure had broken the record. However, everyone soon realized one thing. Where did Sister E go? The live stream was still going on, and many scenes were cut to Shi Sui. The man was still calm and restrained, slowly watering Xiangyi's plants and trimming the branches and leaves. Then he went to feed the chickens, ducks, geese, and even led Logic's brothers to the mountains to pick wild vegetables. However, the group of men did not know what vegetables were and picked a bunch of poisonous mushrooms and inedible grass, which attracted the merciless ridicule of the audience. The younger brothers were noisy, as if they were teenagers on an excursion in their school days. Xiangyu was not in the mood to play, and he was cold and aloof the entire time. His cap was pulled down very low, and he exuded a low pressure. He frequently took out his phone, but all the messages he sent were like stones in the sea. His sister did not reply to his messages. Xiangyu was about to explode in anger, but he also felt very aggrieved. Grandpa and sister just left without saying goodbye. Don't I even have the right to know? Some netizens noticed his abnormality. Is Smog unhappy? Why does he look so good even when he's angry? Speaking of which, don't you guys feel that not only is Simeo wrong, but Shi Sui seems a little unhappy too? The netizens observed carefully for a while, but they couldn't tell what they were feeling. However, Shi Sui was different. When Xiangyi was around, he didn't talk much, but his eyes were soft and his tone was gentle. Now that Xiangyi was not around, he still treated people politely and no one could find fault with him. However, if one really looked into it, one would find that there was a sense of alienation. He spoke much less than before. There were all kinds of speculations in the live broadcast room. Speaking of which, old Mr. Fong, old Mr. Xiang, and the others are talking so strangely. Could it be that some big shot is sick? Should they join hands to treat it? Xiangyi also went over to help. Then it's enough for Master and Grandpa to go. Why should Xiangyi go? Wasn't that just adding to the chaos? Aren't you afraid of offending someone important? The netizens gossiped until night fell. It was almost dinner time. Shi Sui threw a tablet to her brothers and said, "Order whatever you want." His younger brothers looked at him eagerly and started talking at once. Where's my sister? Sister, you're not coming back tonight? What does big sister like to eat? I'll order for her. Shi Sui said calmly. She went out. I see. Her younger brothers were a little regretful. Looking at how pitiful they were, Shi Sui frowned slightly and said, I'll go cook some porridge. It turned out that he had unknowingly been affected by Xiangyi. Upon hearing this, the group of Shi Sui sisters who had been making a fuss about leaving him began to make a fuss again. Is there something wrong with Xiangyi? Why is she running around instead of cooking at home? Is Shi Sui's hand supposed to be used for cooking? I've been in bad shape lately, so I need to adjust myself. Go to bed early. Good night. Chapter 631. She's just a delicate flower vase. How can she take good care of our Shirindi? How can we be at ease handing Shirindi over to such a woman? Shi Sui, wake up. As long as you break up with Xiangyi, I'm willing to continue being your fan. Otherwise, I'll stop being your fan. The passers-by had the same reaction. What's the matter? Are all of you going to the Oscars ceremony soon? Aren't you tired of adding so many scenes for yourself every day? Spicy Tutu and the CP fans immediately taught them how to behave. Ball, hurry up and stop being Shusui's fans. Don't embarrass Shusui, sis. What era is it now that men are superior to women? Both men and women should be responsible for household chores. Why does Sister E have to take care of Shusui? There's a Buddhist saying that goes, Buddha's heart appears. In plain English, it means that you are whatever you see others as. You're always scolding our Sister E. You must be having a hard time in real life. Smile, smile. Those people were in the minority. After a while, they realized that they couldn't win the scolding war, so they changed their route and tried to find Jianghu. These people were originally in the same group. After discussing angrily for a long time, they finally wrote a condemnation article and submitted it to an influential Weibo account on Weibo. After their perseverance, there really was a blogger who posted this article, but it was posted as a joke. Smiley face. Showbiz Circle V. Today's confusing article will be posted for everyone to enjoy. He even used a red pen to highlight a few of the weirdest sentences. Jianghu doesn't know what the 3 obediences and 4 virtues are. This shows that she doesn't follow the traditional Chinese culture. Girls are supposed to take care of their boyfriends and husbands. Isn't it natural for women to take care of men? Jianghu always claims that she's a fair, rich, and beautiful woman. This will put pressure on Shusui. How many couples can be happy with a strong woman and a weak man? She should behave herself and keep a low profile to save Ingdi some face. The netizens? What the hell? What era is this? Why are there still such futile thoughts? For a moment, the netizens collectively mocked him. He even tagged Shursui's fan club and several of her biggest fans. Soon, Shursui's official fan club posted an update on Weibo. I hope everyone can follow their idols rationally. The purpose of chasing idols is to make yourself better, but the most important thing is to shine, not just be illuminated. Red Heart Shursui's big fans didn't hold back. This kind of person doesn't deserve to be Shursui's fan, okay? I suggest you all be expelled as fans. What kind of twisted mentality is this to destroy something you can't get? If you like someone because you can't get what you want, you'll make yourself detestable. That's really sad. After being mocked like this, those people finally stopped jumping around. However, the dramatic reversal came too quickly. Spicy Tutu followed the author's ID and found the author's Weibo account. Then she found out that the author was actually selling the so-called female ethics online class. Moreover, there were hundreds of members in the group. Spicy Bunny smiled and reported it to the internet police without scolding or insulting. The cyber police immediately intervened with amazing efficiency and soon solved the case. This author wasn't a real idol chaser at all. He was just selling the class under the guise of idol chasers for profit. There were already more than 1,000 victims. Now, they were all wiped out in one fell swoop. Chapter 632. Nowadays, the cyber police were keeping up with the trends of the times, and they attached great importance to the operation of new media. They immediately posted on Weibo to praise Spicy Tutu. Nanqing Cyber Police Official. A little red flower for Spicy Tutu. Don't forget to help solve the case while chasing after your idol. Tonight, we'll have spicy rabbit head and dog head for supper. Also, let me remind you that the internet is not an illegal place. Everyone is welcome to report criminal activities at any time and make Weibo a clean and harmonious surfing environment. The official Weibo account also reposted this Weibo post to express their attitude. The netizens burst into laughter on the spot. The main characters were holding a banner while the fans were holding little red flowers. The official Weibo account was full of praise. What kind of magical existences were Jianghu and Spicy Tutu? They were simply a breath of fresh air in the entertainment industry. At the same time, in the manor, the takeout had arrived. After eating the hot pot made by Jianghu for lunch, the boys lost their appetite in the face of the table full of takeout. It couldn't be helped. Without comparison, there would be no harm. They used to order takeout from this restaurant often. It was expensive, the ingredients were fresh, and the taste was good. However, with Zhu Yu in front of them, the takeout could be said to be useless. After Shusui finished cooking the porridge, She brought the pot over. The porridge was a failure. Perhaps it was more appropriate to call it rice now. Some netizens speculated that Sui's heart might not be as calm as it seemed on the surface. The group of men didn't care about the details. They each had a big bowl of porridge, regardless of meat or vegetables. The takeout meat was mixed with the pickled vegetables that Jianghu had previously pickled and mixed with the rice before they started eating. This meal was completely different from the exquisite and sumptuous hot pot they had at noon. The netizens teased in the comments section. It's obvious that their mother isn't home. Haha, Sister E isn't around. The boys really don't wash their hands. The way the boys eat is really something. Eating hundreds of takeout meals per person makes them feel like they're eating pig swill. However, the audience felt awkward no matter how they looked at it. Without Sister E around, little La Duo really seemed different. She was usually quiet and didn't seem to have a presence, but the strange thing was that no one would ignore her. Now that she wasn't around, the audience was really not used to it. Moreover, without Sister E around, Ingdi felt very quiet and a little dejected. The younger brothers didn't dare to interact with him. Inexplicably, the number of people who spoke became fewer and fewer. In the end, everyone fell into silence. For the first time in history, there was an awkward silence in two under one roof. Li Jinyu, who was in the director's office, was having a headache. Even he felt awkward, let alone the audience watching the live broadcast. The number of online viewers also began to decrease. Now, in addition to eating well for 3 meals, a few other live broadcast variety shows had popped up. Seeing this, he quickly bought a water army to trample on them. The peak of prosperity is bound to decline. This variety show is about to come to an end. I'm dying of laughter. What kind of live broadcast is this? It's clearly a still image. To be honest, Sui's gentle and reserved personality is not suitable for variety shows. She doesn't have a sense of variety and is too awkward. The bullet screen was filled with arguments again. The fans of Two Under One Roof were furious. Clearly, Xiaopa had just set a record and was about to soar into the sky, riding the wind and breaking the waves. But in the end, he had just become a god, but he had already fallen from the altar. Even if you want to abuse your fans, you shouldn't do this. With nowhere to vent their anger, the only way to vent it was to criticize Jianghu. Is Jianghu going to ruin little La Duo? I've never been so disappointed in Jianghu. I feel like she's not responsible at all. XY is simply a double burden. She's causing trouble for old Mr. Fang and Shui. Doesn't she feel ashamed at all? Chapter 633. When Li Jinyu saw those comments, he wished he could roll up his sleeves and argue with the haters. What's wrong with these people's brains? They don't understand the situation at all, and yet, they're criticizing Sister E. Sister E is so nice, what do they know? What right do they have to criticize Sister E? Li Jinyu was infuriated. Since the start of the variety show, the staff had been on very good terms with Jianghu. It was no exaggeration to say that Jianghu was now the favorite of the entire crew. Many staff members were busy during the day and had to help Jianghu fight the haters online at night. The more they got to know her, the more their hearts ached for her. Sister E is really a girl who deserves to be treated well by others. Wan Qing folded her arms and remained silent, but there was an icy cold aura around her. What's the point of criticizing her here? Her tone was much calmer than Li Jinyu's, making him feel a little ashamed. However, he heard her say in an elegant and intellectual voice, "Leave the public relations to me, I'll contact Tomato Entertainment and Mr. C now. As for you, register an account and contact them." Li Jinyu was dumbfounded. Huh? What's the matter? Don't you know how to be a keyboard warrior? Ming Yen asked with disdain in her eyes. Li Jinyu said with a dumbfounded expression, "Yes, go now then." But Li Jinyu took out his cell phone and began to register an account. The staff at the side were dumbfounded. Is she still the heartless demoness who only knows how to exploit others? Isn't she being too protective of Sister E? After Wan Qing glared daggers at them, they shuddered. Let's register immediately too. The sky gradually turned dark gray, and the lights flickered like flickering shadows. Jianghu met up with Xiang Yin at the airport. Old Mr. Fong and the others were there too. When they saw Xiang Yi, they all frowned. Xiang Yin was so infuriated that he slammed his cane against the ground. What are you doing here? Is this a place where a child like you should come to? Go home now. Old Mr. Fong and the others had the same attitude. Because he really couldn't bear it. Because the girl left in a hurry, she didn't even take her coat and only wore a thin sweater. Her figure looked slender and thin, but her back was stretched into a straight line. She said calmly, "Grandpa, I'm not a child anymore. Firstly, I think my medical skills can come in handy. Secondly, I'm young, I can run and stay up late. Thirdly, you're my grandfather, I can't selfishly ask you to stay, but I can accompany you, to fight side by side." Xiang Yin's lips quivered, and his chest heaved up and down violently. Even his voice was trembling. There were thousands and thousands of words that he wanted to say, but when he met the young girl's clear and resolute eyes, he couldn't say anything else. Forget it. Xiang Yin waved his hand wearily and said, "Come with me, but you have to promise me one thing. You must stay by my side." Xiang Yi nodded obediently. Elder Fong sighed. Good girl, good girl." Elder Yun and Elder Jing looked at each other and saw the reluctance in each other's eyes. Very soon, more and more people gathered. The atmosphere was solemn and silent. A special passage was opened at the airport, and everyone registered as quickly as possible. When a tourist passed by and saw this scene, he took a photo of it and posted it on his WeChat moments. Is this a middle-aged and elderly tour group? Haha, but there's a pretty girl in the group. She's fair and skinny, and she has a great aura. As soon as he posted it, he received a text message notification on his cell phone. Emergency notice. Unless absolutely necessary, do not go to the West Continent for the time being. Chapter 634. What the hell? It must be a rumor, the passenger lamented, not taking the news to heart. Due to work, he was going to the West Continent for a business trip later. However, an announcement suddenly sounded in the airport. Dear passengers heading to the West Continent, Flight F286 cannot take off on time due to weather conditions. We apologize. Dear passengers heading to the West Continent, Flight F355. A series of announcements sounded one after another. On the contrary, all the flights to the West Continent were cancelled. Some people were immediately displeased. Didn't the weather forecast say that it would be sunny? Why are they cancelled? Isn't that a waste of time? Hey, aren't those people at the boarding gate going to the West Continent too? Why can they fly but we can't? You must give us an explanation. The surroundings were noisy and the passenger was extremely frustrated. He took out his mobile phone and was about to report the situation to his superior, only to find that there were a few more comments on his WeChat moments. He habitually clicked on them. Hit the worker spirit, hit the workers, you're above everyone else. Dog, huh? Are you going to the West Continent? I just saw the news saying that something seems to have happened there. Zoom in, the girl in the photo is my sister E. Xing Tu is so good at fighting. Can I move it to Super News? Please. He replied one by one and suddenly remembered the news just now. He clicked on it again. When he finished reading the full text, his eyelids twitched. In the manner. After dinner, the brothers said that it was time for the holidays, but they were still thinking about training, so they went back. Xiang Yu followed suit. Shi Sui walked them to the gate. In the night, the man stood quietly in place for a while. The huge manor was extremely quiet at this moment, leaving only a person, a cat, and a dog. Xiao Naofu had no idea what was going on at all. It thought that Xiang Yi was just going out and that it could still eat her fresh shrimp and pumpkin rice the next morning. It inadvertently raised its cat face, only to discover that the dog man was strange. His gaze was gloomy, and his peach blossom-shaped eyes, which were usually affectionate when he smiled, were now sharp. He gave off a particularly dangerous vibe. Xiao Naofu took a few steps back, for fear that the dog man would take it to be neutered in a bad mood. It had yet to enjoy its life as a tiger, flirt with a tiger sister, and give birth to a tiger baby. Little Shiji nudged it with its warm breath, seemingly coaxing it. Shi Sui lowered his eyes, glanced at the two of them, and walked back. The bullet screen was filled with emotions. Time, empty nest, youth, sway. I'm not used to seeing Shi Ingdi like this. I still prefer his warm smile when Sister E is around. As an artist, Xiangyi doesn't do her job well and goes around doing useless things every day. Isn't everyone being too tolerant of her? She's simply disqualified as an artist. At this moment, Si Chuanbai and Ruan Qing's joint public relations statement was published. He wrote a few versions of the script, and in the end, he used the simplest one. 2 under 1 roof. You look beautiful when you're going against the flow. Xiangyi V. The accompanying picture was of a young girl pulling her suitcase and running towards the sunset. Tomato Entertainment's official Weibo reposted the post with the caption, "Doctors are benevolent." Rose the fan club, Si Chuanbai, and Annan's personal Weibo had all reposted it. At first, the netizens were a little confused until they saw the top trending topic on Weibo, #unknown disease outbreak in Shizhou. They clicked on the topic, only to see that the most popular Weibo post was a picture of a gathering of big shots. Chapter 635. The original post was posted under Spicy Tutu's Twitter account. Yeah. I saw a photo of Sister E on my WeChat moments. She's so cute in real life. Xiang Yi's grandfather is so handsome too. Not to brag, but the Xiang family is so good looking. At first, the comments below were all praises from Spicy Bunny, until someone pointed out, "Huh? Why are there so many big shots in the medical field? Old Fang, Old Yun, and Old Jing are all big shots in traditional Chinese medicine. There are also plenty of big shots in Western medicine. How many of them are on the same level as textbooks?" This Weibo post reminded many people. Huh? That's true. I was fortunate enough to be on Old Ma's expert account before. How is this a middle-aged and elderly tour group? It's an ace tour group in the medical field. Oh my God, have you guys seen the news? Is it related to the incident in Shizhou? When the netizens found out that the flight was headed to Shizhou, there was an instant uproar. At the same time, the official media began to report on the situation in Shizhou. An unknown disease has appeared in Shizhou, and it's extremely contagious. Currently, a team of experts has rushed to the scene for a consultation. There was an uproar on the internet. In particular, some malicious marketing accounts began to spread rumors, causing everyone to be in a state of panic. Spicy Tutu's fans linked the clues together, but they were all dumbfounded. Sister E actually went to such a dangerous place? As fans, their first reaction was to worry about Xiangyi's safety. Boo Hui Mei, are you silly? She clearly didn't have to go. Xiangyi must take good care of herself. I'm crying. However, the haters were still going on about it. She can just go with Western medicine doctors. Why would she go with traditional Chinese medicine doctors? What the hell? Can traditional Chinese medicine doctors treat infectious diseases? They can just use some ointment to fool people. Don't embarrass yourself at such a critical moment. The people who are going are all professionals and seniors in the industry. Their qualifications and medical skills are guaranteed. Xiangyi is just a 20-year-old kid. What can she do? Nowadays, there were many netizens and their qualities were mixed. All kinds of opinions were emerging. A person's tolerance in life was very high, but the strange thing was that on the internet, it was very easy to ignite and explode. Under this Weibo post, the netizens had their own opinions and were arguing fiercely. The ones who felt the most aggrieved were the Spicy Tutu girls. They were being chased and scolded for defending Xiangyi. They couldn't understand why someone would be so hostile towards Xiangyi even though they were separated by the internet. Appearance, personality, age, ability, everything could become a black mark. Many people were disheartened. At this moment, suddenly, someone forwarded this Weibo post. And there was more than one person. Yen Nai, believe in the medical angel. Believe in Sister Xiangyi V Jiang Chen V. Greetings to every defying traveler. Sister and everyone else must return safely. Yin Jiang Xue V. God bless Shizhou. Little Xiangyi, Auntie will wait for you. Yen Kai V. Everyone has worked hard. Xiangyi V. Sister E. will wait for you to come back and resell the goods together. Fu Jian V, Sister E, you're doing well. Jianghu V, oh, baby, do you know how much you've eaten? If you dare to starve and lose weight, I won't acknowledge you as my sister. Among the reviewers, there was one person who was the crudest and wildest. Rong Huai V, the maggots in the comments are scolding you. If you have what it takes, come and fight me. Damn it. Chapter 636. The young man in front of the screen was typing so hard that his phone seemed to be smashed. Whenever he saw someone scolding Xiangyi, he would scold them back. The young man's eyebrows were high, making his eyes seem particularly deep, but at this moment, his eyes were bloodshot. She was such a nice, warm, and bright girl. He would never allow those filthy people to tarnish her name. They were not worthy. Rong Huai's repost was too powerful. The spicy tutu fans seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Protect my brother Rong Huai. It's not good for your brother to swear, it's soft, but it feels so good. Foreign language professional report. Chinese, English, German, Italian, and French curses have been privately shared. Brother, let's go. I'm an unknown rapper, but I'm willing to lend you a hand. Brother, at me if you can't scold me. I'll give you a few lines. With everyone's support, the haters' confusing comments were gradually drowned out. The netizens sighed with emotion. Xiang Yi's popularity was too good. Almost everyone who had worked with her before stood up for her. Her charisma was unparalleled. However, there were also some people who focused on something else. Why isn't Xiang Yi's family speaking up for her? Aren't all of you guys usually known to dote on your sister? Where are all of you now? Also, Shi Sui didn't repost the post. Are they breaking up as soon as the official announcement is made? The netizens were dumbfounded. That seemed to be the case. That was strange. Could it be that her brothers were all busy? Or did they have some conflict with Xiangyi? As for Shi Sui, as her boyfriend, how could he not post on Weibo to support his girlfriend? He was too unqualified. All of a sudden, apart from discussing the situation in Shi province, the most popular topic was criticizing Xiangyi's brother and Shi Sui. At 4:30 a.m., the lights in the conference room were as bright as day. Old Master Fong was already old and he was really weak. He either closed his eyes and rested for a while or was barely holding on because he was in poor condition. The most awake person present was Xiangyi. She had been listening in at the beginning, but now, she seemed to have the courage to lead the entire situation. However, her aura and expression were not fierce. On the contrary, she was gentle and calm. He was also very courteous to the seniors. In discussing the problems of the medical profession, he had even displayed his amazing ability. At first, some of the experts who had looked down on her nodded their heads one after another. It was obvious that they admired her. Regarding the herbs I mentioned just now, there are a few prescriptions in the ancient book, Hui Rant's notes on plants that can be used as evidence. Someone questioned, I've never heard of this book before. Little girl, are you sure? Elder Fong's eyes lit up. What a coincidence. I have a handwritten copy at home. I'll have someone send it over right away. You don't have to go through so much trouble. I have a copy here. Xiangyi lowered her eyes and operated the tablet for a while before projecting it onto the screen in the room. I directly searched for the relevant pages. You can use them as a reference. The experts first discussed the problem of medicinal herbs. During the break, they praised Xiangyi while drinking tea. Aya, it's still the brains of young people. It's really convenient now that technology is so advanced. It's not like in the past where we could only flip through books one by one. In the corner, Xiangyi leaned against the wall and closed her eyes to fall asleep so that she could adjust her state of mind. What she didn't know was that all the big shots in the room were looking at her with love and tenderness. Little girl, have you acknowledged a master? What? You've acknowledged 3? Then there's not much difference between 3 and 30. Why don't she? Chapter 637. At the end of the night, it was dawn. As the sky began to brighten, the Xiang clan's estate was quiet. In the cat bed, Xiao Naofu opened its eyes, yawned lazily, and snuggled into little Shiji's arms. Woof woof. Little Shiji licked it a few times before falling asleep again. Xiao Naofu looked out sleepily. Shi Sui was sitting beside the coffee table by the floor-to-ceiling window with a book on her lap. Xiao Naofu tilted its head in puzzlement and thought, "This book? Was it on this page last night?" Shi Sui hadn't slept all night and had some stubble on his chin, making him look inexplicably dejected. "Hey, this dog of a man has such an expression?" Xiao Naofu jumped out of the cat's nest and lazily walked over to Shi Sui's feet with its thick, round legs. It grabbed Shi Sui's trousers and skillfully jumped onto his lap, tilting its head curiously. "Meow." Shi Sui didn't respond. Xiao Naofu meowed a few times before Shi Sui slowly came back to his senses. "Huh." His voice was hoarse and full of fatigue. Xiao Naofu patted his arm and rubbed its belly, indicating that the dog of a man could serve it food now. "Hungry?" Shi Sui rubbed the back of the cat's neck perfunctorily and got up to pour some cat food into its bowl. Xiang Feng was the one who bought the cat food, which was said to be a royal brand in the world of cat food. The expensive price corresponded to the unparalleled deliciousness. However, Xiao Naofu's appetite had long been spoiled by Xiangyi and it didn't fancy such dry cat food at all. It acted coquettishly and pointed at the door of Xiangyi's room. If there were outsiders present, their jaws would probably drop in shock. "This cat has probably become a spirit." Shi Sui accepted it very well and said softly, "She's not back yet." Xiao Naofu's eyes widened. "What? That stupid woman didn't come home at night and it's already daybreak?" Atrocious. It tried to contact Xiangyi through the chat channel, only to discover that it seemed to have been blocked. Xiao Naofu realized that something was wrong, and his first reaction was to tell Shi Sui. Sensing Shi Sui's unusual aura, it hesitated. He was the stupid woman's boyfriend, but that didn't mean he was trustworthy. There must be some secret hidden in Shi Sui. After all, Xiao Naofu had a low IQ and a simple mind. It bounced onto the sofa and turned on the tablet. Fortunately, Xiangyi's WeChat account was still logged in. While Shi Sui was in the yard, it swiped the screen and made a video call to Xiangyu. Nothing happened. The internet addict had no morning. It tried calling Xiang Li and Sanction, but no one picked up and the other was hung up. Xiao Naofu scratched its head and locked its eyes on the account of third brother Xiang Qi. After a moment of hesitation, it used its little paw to press the call button. Ding ding ding. Xiang Qi busied himself through the night and finally managed to personally make a piece of haute couture clothing. He was so tired that he collapsed on the sofa and fell asleep. Everyone in the studio was used to seeing his designs, but they were still inevitably shocked. His assistant, Roman, knelt on the ground, as if he was the most devout believer worshipping the gods. "This is God's will, a miracle," he muttered to himself, and suddenly heard Xiang Qi's phone ring. Although his Chinese was not good, he still recognized the word "sister" on the screen. Worried that it might be an emergency, he pressed the answer button. "Good morning, Miss Xiang," Roman greeted clumsily. What responded to him was a series of hurried meows. Chapter 638. Roman slowly typed a question mark. When Xiao Naofu saw that the person who answered the phone was not Xiang Qi, but a foreigner with green eyes and yellow hair, he became even more anxious. "Meow. Meow meow meow. Tell Xiang Qi to pick up this who's call, meow." Unfortunately, not everyone's understanding could compare to Shi Sui's. Roman didn't understand what Xiao Naofu was saying at all, but humans had different joys and sorrows, but there was no human in this world who didn't like kittens. Nothing. "Oh God, this cute little kitty. Sapphires are not as bright as your eyes, and your claws have been kissed by God." Roman unconsciously used his mother tongue, and a series of praises flowed out. Xiao Naofu couldn't understand what he was saying and anxiously roared like a tiger. "Oh!" Roman instantly lost the ability to speak. "Ah? Xiao Naofu. Stupid humans, they're so annoying." His chubby little paw accidentally touched the voice message that Xiangyi had sent earlier, and the girl's sweet voice was playing. "Brother, I sent you something delicious. Take care of your body and don't tire yourself out." Roman didn't understand and stared at Xiao Naofu in the video. Xiao Naofu's head drooped listlessly. He was about to give up on contacting the stupid woman's brother when his phone was suddenly snatched away by a pair of large hands. "Younger sister?" His gorgeous and languid voice was bewitching. Whoosh! Xiao Naofu's ears perked up as it meowed wildly. Xiangqi frowned. You fat cat, do you have nothing better to do after eating? Xiao Naofu? What did you say? Who's fat aim? This hoo-hoo is not fat. This hoo-hoo is not meow. The little fellow was so angry that he wanted to hang up the phone, but when he thought of Xiangyi's unknown situation, it typed with its furry paws frowny face stupid woman is in danger. Xiangqi thought that someone was playing a prank on him. He didn't even think that Xiao Naofu could type. Who's so bored? He muttered softly. And who's that stupid woman? Xiao Naofu angrily replied. Your sister. Xiangyi. Xiangqi cursed loudly, without a trace of his image as a top international designer. Bullsh *T. How is my sister stupid? My sister is the smartest and cutest girl in the world. They were from the same family, but why was there such a huge difference in their IQs? On Xiao Naofu's immature face, a look of vicissitudes emerged. The tablet was suddenly tapped twice by a pair of bony hands. Xiao Naofu looked up and saw that it was Shi Sui who had forwarded a piece of news to Xiangqi. What to do, what to do? The D***Emin man had discovered her secret. Little did they know that Shi Sui was very calm. Sister E will be in danger? Tell me what happened. Huh. Xiao Naofu pretended to be innocent and blinked. Meow. What are you talking about? This hoo-hoo doesn't understand. You can trust me. Shi Sui rubbed his eyebrows and said casually, otherwise, you would have been cooked into a cat meat hot pot or sent to a research institute to be dissected. Xiao Naofu continued to pretend. Shi Sui stared at it for a few seconds and suddenly smiled. Are you afraid that I'll know your secret? Ah meow. This hoo-hoo and this stupid woman have no secrets. Transmigrating to another world? Shi Sui's few words were earth-shattering, leaving Xiao Naofu dumbfounded. How did he know? Shi Sui picked it up and scrutinized it for a few seconds before speaking in an indifferent tone. In the past year, I've met more than one fast transmigrator. Chapter 639. Meow? Meow meow. Xiao Naofu was shocked. How could this be? The world that Xiangyi was in was obviously a very ordinary and safe plane. In the rating of the fast-traversing world, it belonged to the relatively low kind. Such a world, whether in terms of logic or energy, couldn't accommodate frequent transmigrations. Shi Sui calmly pressed Xiao Naofu in front of the tablet. Type. Xiao Naofu hesitated. Shi Sui, why don't you speak human language? Xiao Naofu, you can't even speak human language? There was a hint of disdain. Xiao Naofu. F***CKU? The kitten had an expression that said, this who can't stand this grievance, but it reluctantly typed on the screen with its paws. Even though she was mentally prepared, Shi Sui still raised her eyebrows when she saw the kitten's proficient typing. However, this time, there was no barrier to communication between the two. Xiao Naofu, can I trust you, dogman? Shi Sui, huh? Dogman? Xiao Naofu! Exclamation point. Oh no, I accidentally typed out my inner thoughts. The kitten guiltily deleted the last 3 words and went against its conscience to type the words haughty. The man's low and sultry laughter came from above. You can choose not to believe that I won't cook you into a cat meat hot pot, but you can believe that I will never hurt Sister E. The man's tone was indifferent, but there was no room for negotiation. I swear on my life. Sweet words. However, after spending so much time with Shi Sui, Xiao Naofu could see his feelings for Xiangyi. After hesitating for a few seconds, Xiao Naofu began to type and slowly describe the situation. It took about half an hour. Shi Sui sorted out all the clues and frowned. So, she has a system in her subconsciousness now? Xiao Naofu nodded. Shi Sui tapped his fingers on the table in an even rhythm. Suddenly he paused. He searched on his phone and handed the screen to Xiao Naofu. The Qin Wanyan you mentioned, is it this woman? Xiao Naofu, meow. Didn't this woman come to the manor before? How could this D***Emin man not remember what she looked like? Shi Sui dialed a number and gave a simple instruction. His deep and cold voice made people's hearts palpitate for no reason. I want to see her. At 7:30 a.m., the morning news began. It is reported that all the close contacts have been tracked down. In addition, the team of experts has already come up with a response plan. I hope that the people of the Western continent will work together to overcome the difficulties. Good news. Countless people were encouraged and immediately felt that this was not a big deal. They should continue to watch the show. In a certain rented apartment. When the unshaven man woke up, the first thing he did was to grab his phone sleepily. When he saw the latest situation in Shizhou, he felt a pang of anxiety. If the incident ended just like that, how could he continue to gain popularity? Seeing that the article he wrote yesterday had very few views, the man scratched his feet in annoyance and moved his face to touch his itchy nose a few times. Suddenly, he had an idea. What the netizens wanted to see was the truth. Not necessarily. As long as the entry point was tricky enough and the gimmick was eye-catching enough, the truth of the incident did not matter. The man sat up and first sent himself a private message on his private account, then quickly typed on Weibo, online celebrity Diapi only V. I received a fan's contribution from the Western continent. She's a medical staff member and heard that Jianghu has been ostracized by the big shots in the team of experts. Chapter 640. Below the Weibo post, there was a picture of a private message. Mr. Pippi, I'm here to contribute to your blog. Give me a thick password. Didn't the incident in Shizhou blow up recently? I'm a local medical staff, but I won't go into detail. Didn't a group of experts come over? The big shots of Western medicine from all over the country, including respiratory and infectious diseases. Many of the leading figures in Chinese medicine have also come, all of whom are difficult to hire even for powerful businessmen. What surprised me the most was that there was a celebrity in the group of experts. Forgive me for being blunt, but aren't celebrities just entertainers? Sneaking into such a group of experts is really an insult to the efforts of the experts, and it's also a betrayal of the trust that the public has in the experts. However, what I'm happy to see is that the group of experts are very disdainful of her. After all, she's young and incompetent. She's also very funny and always wants to be in the limelight. She loves to show off in front of the experts. The experts didn't say anything for the sake of her grandfather, but her behavior is really disgusting. Of course, this so-called submission was not self-directed and self-acted by him. He tagged a few trending hashtags and then posted it on Weibo. He then used a few other accounts to repost it. He had been running Weibo for a long time, and each account had at least 100,000 followers. Several accounts jointly reposted it, and because it was tagged with a trending hashtag, the amount of exposure instantly increased. As he had expected, this entry point was really tricky. It was peak hour at this time, and the traffic was astonishing. When the netizens saw this Weibo post, they were slightly relieved, but their anger was ignited again. I vomited. I knew this would happen. What kind of behavior is this? I think she's more like a B*. The experts are ostracizing her? Is she worthy? I think she's the one harassing the experts. They're working so hard to save lives and heal the injured, but she's great. Does she think she's there to perform on stage? I strongly suggest kicking Jianghu out of the group of experts. What if she affected the mood of the experts by leaving her inside? Why is she getting involved in a matter of life and death? She's simply disregarding human life. There were even some who directly copied and pasted a sentence and Jianghu V, are human blood buns tasty? Looking at the angry faces of the netizens, Skinner smiled triumphantly in front of the screen. His account had a function that allowed him to monetize his traffic. The number of clicks on his advertisements and the tips from his fans were all his sources of income. In short, the more people who read his Weibo, the more money he could earn. This time, it could be said that he had earned a lot. The spicy tutu girls held the principle of believing in Jianghu. They all expressed that they did not believe in rumors and did not spread rumors. They were very calm. What kind of storms have they not seen before? It was just a small scene. Peace was enough. However, the fans of several popular actresses took the opportunity to add insult to injury. They couldn't wait for Jianghu to disappear. Wow, how does it feel to have your house collapse? I bet 50 cents that within 3 days, Jianghu will become a paste. Her family doesn't dote on her, her boyfriend doesn't love her, and she's even hated by others. Ayaya, her charming image really collapses just like that. The netizens mocked him mercilessly. At 8 o'clock sharp, the official media suddenly posted on Weibo. Nanxing Daily V. Thank you to the ethnic entrepreneurs and individuals of Nanxing for your monetary and material donations. Love is boundless. Please pass it on. There was a long list of people who were at the top of the list. They were none other than Xiang Yi's uncle, Shi Sui. Chapter 641. Shi Sui, Shiguang Studio donated 50 million yuan. Sanctioned Linchin law firm donated 50 million yuan. Xiang Li, Nanxing Biomedical Research Institute donated 40 million yuan and medical supplies. Xiang Qi Hades Design Studio donated 30 million yuan and women's products. Xiang Yu, Logic Esports team donated 30 million yuan and food supplies. The amazing amount of donations instantly caused an uproar on the internet. Oh my god, Xiangyi's brothers are so amazing. Shi Sui is so caring, sob. I thought he was cold and aloof, but I didn't expect him to be such a gentle person. Am I the only one who noticed Uncle Xiang Feng? He donated 100 million yuan. 100 million yuan. Wow, I'm so impressed. How dare you treat the domineering Su as if he's invisible? So far, the Xiang family and Shi Sui had not made any comments on social media, but they had taken action to support the Shizhou area. On the other hand, many celebrities and internet celebrities had only spoken out but not done anything substantial. The netizens were suddenly enlightened and sobered up. Their family has donated more than the entire entertainment industry combined. I'm asking, who else? Do those who said that Xiangyi's family and boyfriend didn't do anything feel embarrassed? They've been slapped in the face so quickly, like a tornado. Although celebrities and internet celebrities have no obligation to donate, and we shouldn't criticize or condemn them, we must praise the Xiang family's brothers and Shi Sui. That way, we won't disappoint those who truly want to do charity. Hey, you guys forgot about the domineering CEO uncle again. Xiang Feng, it's a story about 6 people, but I'm the only one who doesn't deserve to have a name. The netizens laughed and joked about Xiang Feng being ignored. Soon, there were all kinds of jokes and emojis. The spicy Tutu fans also found a strong point to counterattack. What? Our Tutu's image has collapsed and they didn't do anything? Are you kidding me? Please, our Tutu is on the front line of the fight against the epidemic, okay? What? Our Tutu's brother and boyfriend didn't do anything? Are you kidding me? Open your eyes and look at the world. Do you really think that the hundreds of millions of donations and supplies are fake? By the way, your housekeeper didn't donate a single cent. She must be having a hard time. Come on, continue to work hard as a worker in the entertainment industry. Our Tutu is outstanding. She also has a family that dotes on her and a boyfriend that dotes on her. I'm going to piss you off. The opposing fans, F***CK. Even if we can't afford to offend them, can't we just hide? How the F***CK is this black? Only those who had been instigated by the internet celebrity peeler were still insisting that Xiangyi had been ostracized. In their eyes, seeing was believing. They had seen the screenshot of the submission with their own eyes. As for whether the news was true or false, and how much was true or false, they didn't care at all. Some of them had nothing better to do and even mocked him in a sarcastic manner. This is probably the mentality of the more you lack something, the more you want to show it off. A certain female celebrity has embarrassed herself in the group of experts, so she has to make up for it in other ways. Haha, have you forgotten about the human blood steamed buns? Do you think the internet has no memory? At this moment, on the news channel of Shizhou TV station, the host and the reporter connected to the scene and live-streamed the situation of the group of experts to the public. It's break time now, we can see that the experts are, The reporter was in a trance. Fighting to take in disciples? Chapter 642. The host was obviously stunned for a second, but he managed to maintain his composure. Smiling politely, he said, "What a surprise. I didn't expect the experts to have such a scene. I believe the audience in front of the screen must be as curious as I am. Who is the disciple that the experts are vying to accept? The reporter said, I'm afraid you won't believe it, but it's a young girl in her early 20s. The cameraman at the scene changed the camera angle and shot a panoramic view. The slender and fair young girl was surrounded by a group of experts who were of the same age as her grandparents. They finally had some time to rest, but not only did they not make use of this precious time to rest, they were even more hostile than when they were discussing her condition just now. Jianghu, traditional Chinese medicine is good, but Western medicine isn't bad either. Come, learn respiratory medicine from me. Don't listen to his nonsense. The infectious diseases department is the best. Forget it, she's a good seedling for traditional Chinese medicine. Why are you Western medicine experts trying to get her? That's not how you poach people. The young girl looked confused and her long eyelashes fluttered. Does she have the halo of wanting to accept her as a disciple as soon as they meet her? The crowd was arguing incessantly, and the reporters and cameraman were in a mess. The host was dumbfounded. No, you experts can get any kind of student or disciple you want, but why are you all trying to accept Jianghu as your disciple? The reporter came back to his senses and stepped forward to shove the microphone in front of Jianghu. Miss Xiang, tell us how you feel now. Jianghu said. I'm quite confused. Miss Xiang, do you have a favorite teacher? The reporter was eager to stir up trouble. Which expert's disciple would you like to be? In an instant, the eyes of the experts were as sharp as knives as they shot daggers at the reporters. Jianghu answered humbly and politely, everyone here can be my teacher. Be it medical skills or other aspects, I still have a lot to learn from my seniors. The young girl's answer was appropriate and obedient, and the experts liked her very much. Everyone was looking at her kindly as if they were looking at their own child. What if you have to choose one? The reporter continued to stir up trouble. Jianghu blinked and said, actually, I've already chosen 3. The reporter, Elder Fong, Elder Yun, and Elder Jing smiled faintly. I am her great master. I am not talented, but I am the second master of my beloved disciple. I am the third master of my obedient disciple. Do you have a problem with that? The reporter was dumbfounded. Before coming here, he had also learned about the lives of these big shots. The president of the Wuxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Association, the heir of the Huichun Hall Medical Hall, and the chief master of the Jishir Hall Medical Hall were all divine doctors of traditional Chinese medicine. But Jianghu actually bowed 3 times in one go? Unexpectedly, in the next second, the others were unhappy. You 3 old fogies, you're just the early bird that got here first. She has already acknowledged 3 masters. What's wrong with acknowledging a few more? In my opinion, traditional Chinese medicine is the body and Western medicine is the application. The combination of traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine is the best choice. Reporter, ? The host, ? Was this a recruitment event or a large-scale cabbage-picking event? Could it be that the big shots in the medical field in the country were all picked by Jianghu to be her disciple? At this moment, Elder Fong said leisurely, only children make choices. My dear disciple, you might as well choose all of them. Chapter 643. Jianghu was speechless. She had an innocent look on her face as she didn't expect things to turn out this way. However, the other experts agreed. I don't mind. Yes, we'll just accept her together. We'll combine Chinese and Western medicine, extract the essence, and discard the dross. We'll use modern scientific methods to verify the scientificity and accuracy of the 2 types of medicine. That's the only way we won't waste a good seedling. Jianghu said, Seniors, young lady, it's too rushed today. I'll give you a gift later. One of the experts yelled, and the others immediately expressed that they must prepare a gift for Jianghu. The atmosphere at the scene was joyous and harmonious. Everyone was immersed in the joy of receiving their little disciple, which relieved a lot of their stress and fatigue. Xiang Yin was calm and composed, which was rare for him to not throw a tantrum. In fact, he knew in his heart that on one hand, these experts were teasing him, but on the other hand, they really thought highly of Xiangyi. Perhaps my tutu will have great achievements in medicine. As her grandfather, I just need to pave the way for her. She'll have to walk her own path in the future, the reporter said in a trance. This is the situation at the scene, host. The host said in confusion. This segment of the report was live-streamed by the TV station and was seen by countless viewers. Some commenters immediately edited the video and posted it on various social media platforms. The netizens clicked on it to take a look. All of them? I was dumbfounded on the spot. How can you become a disciple in such a way? Haha, some people who ridiculed Xiangyi for being ostracized by the experts are hilarious. She's clearly the favorite of everyone. This scene also became a must-have video in the annual face-slapping moments video collection. Meanwhile, the netizens who heard that Xiangyi loved to be in the limelight and was ostracized were dumbfounded. Why is this completely different from what we imagined? The attitude of the person involved was the best way to clarify things. The rumors were dispelled on their own. The public opinion was reversed. The netizens began to question whether the fan submissions of the internet celebrity Peeler account were real or fake. This is clearly a baseless rumor. To be honest, anyone who can come into contact with a team of experts would probably have to sign a confidentiality agreement. How could they expose this online? If he really hated Xiangyi, why would he be willing to accept her as his disciple? Regardless of whether it's medicine or any other industry, they won't accept disciples casually, okay? On the other hand, the spicy tutu girls were very peaceful. Unlike the fans of other families, who would spread rumors with their mouths but do everything they could to refute them, Spicy Tutu's fans were very Buddhist. Slandering our sister E? Sure, do whatever you want. If we don't slap Blackie's face swollen, it'll be our loss. Seeing that the situation had taken a turn for the worse, the Spicy Tutu fans started spamming emojis of lotus flowers and world peace. Who would have thought that their actions would go out of the entertainment circle? The fans were all amused by Spicy Tutu's actions. Haha, Xiangyi's fans are funnier than her. I've never seen such a lazy fan. Are you a bunch of middle-aged men? Have some self-awareness and go fight. What kind of treasure is this fan? The emojis are so cute. Can I join Spicy Tutu on the spot? Just send me more emojis? At the same time, Shi Sui stepped into Nanjing Mental Hospital. Chapter 644. It was summer in Southern City, and the temperature was scorching hot. However, perhaps it was because of the greenery in the hospital, the moment she entered, she felt the temperature drop by a few degrees. Please sign the visitor's registration form. The girl at the front desk recognized Shi Sui and couldn't help but take a few more glances. The man was tall and well-proportioned, with broad shoulders and long legs. He wore a black silk shirt, looking casual and casual. The gold-rimmed glasses softened the sharpness in the man's eyes. Every inch of his face seemed to be softened by a filter. When he lowered his eyes to sign, his black eyelashes cast a faint shadow. His hand was cursive, and his strokes were strong. Done. He pushed the form back. This way, please. The mental hospital was privately operated and the service was excellent. The nurse led the way for Shi Sui and they arrived in front of a ward. This is Miss Qin Wanyan's ward. If you need anything, just press the bell. Shi Sui nodded in thanks. After the nurse left, he raised his hand and knocked twice on the door. The door was pulled open, revealing a haggard face. Qin Wanyan was no longer as beautiful as before. Her hair, which had been permed and dyed too many times, was no longer cared for. It was as messy as weeds, and the ends of her hair had faded to an ugly yellow. She had lost a lot of weight. When she saw Shi Sui, her eyes shone brightly. Shi Sui. She was surprised and overjoyed. Then she asked carefully, Are you here to save me? The man was calm. Good morning, Miss Qin. You must be here to save me. Qin Wanyan tried to grab Shi Sui's wrist, but the man evaded her. She missed, but she wasn't discouraged. She begged humbly, Please save me. I'm not crazy. I'm really not. I'm just locked up here. Ever since she suggested to the system to let Jianghu complete the mission, everything had changed. She was no longer the chosen one who was about to transmigrate. Instead, she had become an exile from the system. Her career was ruined, and her family and friends had all fallen out with her. She could feel her life slipping away. Every time she woke up, she seemed to have aged a few years. However, that wasn't the scariest thing. The scary thing was that everyone in this building was mentally ill. For example, there would be all kinds of strange noises in the corridor every night. For example, the patient next door would suddenly knock on her door and let out a strange laugh. Qin Wanyan was about to go crazy from the double torture of her body and mind. Shi Sui said, "Let's talk. If you can give me the information I want, I'll consider helping you." A few minutes later, in the garden of the hospital, Qin Wanyan was wrapped in a thick knitted coat and a blue and white hospital gown. She trembled and said, "Do you know? I'm a fast transmigrator, the kind that allows one to travel to another world." Two patients who were taking a walk passed by. Someone laughed and laughed. Look, she's mentally ill." Another person licked his lollipop. "Yeah, he's pretty sick." Qin Wanyan, is there anything more ironic than being called a lunatic by a lunatic? She smiled bitterly. "Forget it, I know you won't believe me." Unexpectedly, the man said lightly, "I believe you." Qin Wanyan, exclamation point. Her eyes were filled with ecstasy, like a drowning person who had caught the last straw. "Really?" Shi Sui looked at her, his eyes especially gentle under the warm sunlight. "Yes." Qin Wanyan sobbed. "The system is a liar. Everything is a scam." Chapter 645. She was overjoyed, like a drowning person who had found her last life-saving straw. "Really?" Shi Sui looked at her, his eyes especially gentle under the warm sunlight. "Yes." Qin Wanyan sobbed. "The system is a liar. It's all a scam." Unexpectedly, the man said calmly, "I believe you." Qin Wanyan was speechless. An hour later, Qin Wanyan was crying her eyes out. Shi Sui was indifferent and had no intention of giving her a tissue or a handkerchief. Qin Wanyan was speechless. Why did she always run into such iron-willed men? "I've arranged a sanatorium for you, but before that, please come with me." Qin Wanyan nodded frantically. As long as Shi Sui could save her, she was willing to do anything. As for the unspoken rules, if Shi Sui wanted to sleep with her, she would be more than willing. The man didn't take her back to the manor, but to Xingchen Entertainment. Even if Jianghu didn't know, he had arranged for 2 cars, one in front and one at the back, to avoid being in a confined space with any woman. Seeing a familiar figure, he gestured for the driver to stop by the roadside. He got out of the car and walked to the side of the road. Before he could say anything, Xiang Feng shouted from the tree, "You came at the right time. Sui, give me a plastic bag. There are so many peaches, it's a pity not to pick them all." Xiang Feng's special assistant, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, was standing next to him, but at this moment he looked like he was about to collapse. Why was their domineering so rustic? He climbed trees faster than a monkey. He couldn't stop him no matter how hard he tried. Shi Sui raised his eyebrows. "If I remember correctly, this is a green fruit tree. So, the green fruit tree is for viewing, not for you to climb up and pick." After a pause, Shi Sui added, "Of course, to put it simply, these peaches don't taste good." Xiang Feng was speechless for a few seconds, then silently slid down from the tree. He muttered softly, "Why didn't you say so earlier? I'm itching to death." Suddenly, Qin Wanyan got out of the car and met Xiang Feng's gaze. "Xiang Feng, oh? Is this your grandmother? Why does it look different from before?" To Qin Wanyan, these words were like a knife stabbing into her heart. Shi Sui turned to Qin Wanyan and asked, "No reaction?" Qin Wanyan shook her head. "No, from that day onwards, the system disappeared. However, this did not mean that it had given up on her. Instead, it was slowly erasing her soul. It was like a wild beast that had caught its prey and was not in a hurry to eat it. Instead, it was slowly toying with it, watching its prey suffer, go mad, collapse, and despair. Shi Sui pondered for a moment and asked the driver to send her away. Xiang Feng asked dumbly, "What are you two doing? Why do you keep saying things I don't understand?" Shi Sui did not answer but asked, "Have any strange people approached you recently?" Xiang Feng rubbed his chin and thought for a while, then said, "No." The assistant on the side reminded him appropriately, "Mr. Xiang, the college student who tried to blackmail you this morning, the clerk who poured coffee on you last night, and the waiter who crawled under your bed in the hotel. I think they're all quite strange." Xiang Feng, "Haha, don't you think they're fun? Don't panic. Take a picture and post it on your WeChat moments to entertain my good friends." The assistant, Shi Sui, smiled faintly. So many people. Chapter 646. Hence, every time a person appeared, Shi Sui would compile a summary. Before Xiangyi came back, he had counted a total of 17 people. And now, Xiang Feng seemed to have encountered the same situation. However, he was slow to react and hadn't realized it yet. With a rough idea in mind, Shi Sui looked at his watch and said calmly, "It's about time. I should go back and feed Sister Yi's chickens, ducks, and geese." Xiang Feng's assistant was dumbfounded. Feed the chickens? Feed the ducks? Feed the geese? He really wanted to shake Shi Sui's shoulders and yell, "Shi Sui, wake up. You shouldn't be using your hands to do such a thing." Xiang Feng's assistant looked at Xiang Feng with some hope in his eyes. He was hoping that Xiang Feng would dissuade Shi Sui, but to his surprise, Xiang Feng nodded in agreement. "No matter how poor we are, we can't let the chickens, ducks, and geese suffer. Feed them more, we can't let them starve and lose weight. When Xiangyi comes back, I'm still waiting to eat the big plate of chicken, fruit-scented roast duck, and marinated goose." Xiang Feng's assistant was dumbfounded. Is this what they mean by, "If you're not a family, you won't enter the same house"? The discussion of the experts came to an end, and the next step was the clinical treatment. Xiang Yi had been working under Xiang Yi's grandfather for a few days, and her performance made the experts. Oh no, the masters increasingly pleased with her. The more they saw her, the more they liked her. She was a woman of few words, diligent, and professional. Be it the accumulation of theoretical knowledge or the practice of clinical diagnosis and treatment, they couldn't find any fault with her. If one were to pick bones in an egg and find fault with it, that was because they had discovered the treasure too late. After learning that Xiangyi was now an artist, many masters were tempted to recruit her. It was rare for them to have a moment of rest, so they tried to poach her. "Young lady, do you want to go to graduate school with me?" "Hey, my dear disciple, I have a spot for you for a master's degree. Why don't you come with me when I visit a foreign medical school next time?" Xiangyi turned down their good intentions one by one. The masters could only wring their hands and sigh. There was nothing they could do. They could only watch as the little girl put on the protective suit and entered the isolation ward again. Over the past few days, everyone had to maintain a high level of concentration at all times. This was a test for the older experts, but Xiangyi was very adaptable and did not feel tired at all. Moreover, the amount of sleep he got every day was only 3 to 4 hours. "This little girl is quite stubborn." An expert sighed and lamented. Everyone felt their hearts ache at the same time. But at the same time, he was gratified. It can be said that we have a successor. A new patient was sent to the ward. His symptoms were relatively mild. After Xiangyi felt his pulse, she had a rough idea. In addition to the usual treatment, I'll prescribe 3 doses of medicine for him first. Xiangyi instructed the nurse. Through the protective mask, her voice sounded a little muffled, but it was enough for people to recognize her. The man on the hospital bed asked with uncertainty, "Are you Vase?" Cough, Xiangyi? Xiangyi, yes. Through the protective goggles, the young man met a pair of extremely beautiful eyes. His heartbeat sped up, and he said with a cold face, "I don't want you to treat me." His voice was very loud, and the patients in the isolation ward all looked over at him. Thinking of the comments he saw online, the man instantly found his confidence. "You're so young and you're even a woman. I don't feel at ease letting you treat me." Xiangyi understood. "Are you doubting my medical skills?" Chapter 647. Her tone was calm and monotonous. The man couldn't figure out what she was thinking and felt uneasy. What should he do? What if Jianghu insisted on treating him? It was said on the internet that Jianghu was just a vase fairy, a second-generation doctor who relied on her grandfather's identity as a famous doctor to get into the group of specialists. He was really unlucky to have contracted this disease and met a doctor with poor medical skills like Jianghu. Anyway, I'll never let you treat me. Please wait a moment, I'll get someone to call another doctor over. The man's hysterical yelling was in stark contrast to the girl's gentle and calm voice. The man widened his eyes in disbelief when he heard Jianghu's words. Why was Jianghu different from what he had imagined? On the bed next door was a young female university student who had been admitted in the same batch. Her thoughts were completely different from the man's. Jianghu was so young, but she was able to get into the group of specialists. What did that mean? It meant that Jianghu was so amazing at such a young age. She immediately raised her hand enthusiastically. Sister? Ahem, Dr. Xiang, can you take a look at me? Jianghu nodded and walked to her bed. The man secretly felt lucky. There were so many fools, but fortunately he was smart. Instead of looking for an older specialist, he found a young woman to treat him. How could she be reliable? Time passed by slowly. The man realized that after Jianghu took the female university student's pulse and prescribed a prescription, the doctor who was going to treat him finally arrived. There was no other reason other than that all the medical staff were too busy and almost all of them were working around the clock. The doctor who was going to treat him was a very famous Western doctor. In order to ensure the accuracy of the diagnosis, he first arranged for the man to undergo various tests. Just these tests alone were enough to make the man feel unbearable. It wasn't over yet. After the tests, he had to wait for a long time before the doctor finally arrived. After that, he was prescribed a lot of medicine and had to be injected with needles and infusions. The man turned to look at the bed next door. Damn, that female university student had taken Chinese medicine. The medicine had a sleeping effect. Not long after, the female university student felt sleepy. She closed her eyes and fell into a deep sleep. The man could only console himself that Western medicine was the quickest way to take effect. It could cure illnesses. It was said on the internet that the traditional Chinese medicine soup was a placebo. It was just a lie. The hospital did not restrict the use of mobile phones. The man had an 4-drip in one hand and typed with difficulty with the other. After sending the message, he scrolled through his phone in torment, feeling as if each day was like a year. After a night, the medical staff came to check on the female university student next door and then pushed her to another ward. The man had been on a drip for a long time. He looked swollen and haggard. He comforted himself that the female university student's condition must have worsened. How pitiful, Tiaskati. Little did she know that 2 hot posts had appeared on the Melon forum. It was a post with a clickbait title, "I'm in Shizhou Hospital. I want to live." The post text, "I never thought that such a disaster would befall me." Saying that the sky has collapsed is not enough to describe it. The whole world seems to have darkened. I suddenly realized that living is a luxury. I'm currently in Shizhou Hospital. Coincidentally, the first person to treat me was the vase fairy, the female celebrity Jianghu. Fortunately, I was quick-witted and quickly changed the doctor. With her standard, it would be strange if she could cure me. The other post was very similar to a rumor. The title was, F***CK, I'm sick and I'm about to recover? Chapter 648. Post, first of all, let me calm down. I still feel like I'm in a dream. Okay, I'll briefly explain my situation. That's right, I've been infected with a disease that has recently spread in Shizhou, but my symptoms are very mild and my body functions are quite good. When I was hospitalized, I was almost scared to death. I felt like I was going to die at any moment because I heard that this disease would get worse and worse. Then I met Jianghu. Yes, she's the female celebrity who's often criticized on the internet. There was an annoying person in the next bed who kept saying that Jianghu was young and female, so her medical skills weren't good enough. I got angry when I heard that. Besides, I felt that Jianghu's skills were top-notch since she could join the expert team, so I chose her for treatment. Now, I've been transferred to the isolation ward. The nurse said that if everything goes well, I should be discharged in a week. Just soon as the post was posted, netizens quickly arrived at the scene. Is Xiangyi Hua Tuo reincarnated? F***CK, what else can I say? Sister E is awesome. OP, who knows if you're telling the truth? You're cured just because you said so? Wait a minute, this post is connected to the post next door. So that OP rejected Xiangyi's treatment and hasn't recovered yet, but OP, you're almost fully recovered? There were many doubters, so the OP added a few pictures of herself in the hospital in Shizhou. This time, the post went viral. It went all the way to the Hot Topic section of the Melon Forum. The netizens who saw this post were dumbfounded. 2 days ago, weren't there people who were criticizing Xiangyi for being ostracized and being a second-generation doctor? But didn't Xiangyi cure the patient? Someone said sourly, she must have been lucky. The OP also said that she's a patient with a mild illness. Maybe her immune system is good. Maybe it's not a cure, but a self-healing. At this moment, the official media in Shizhou released an exciting report. Frowny face, good news. The first patient in Shizhou to be cured has set a new record. The netizens clicked on it. Wow, isn't this the OP of the Melon Forum? They thought she was exaggerating, but they didn't expect the truth to be, she's too conservative. How was he about to recover? He was clearly already alive and kicking. However, he was worried that she might still be contagious, so he had her isolated for observation. In addition, this report used a lot of space to describe Xiangyi. Moreover, she had been using the title, Dr. Xiangyi, the entire time. Dr. Xiangyi has chosen a flexible method of increasing and subtracting prescriptions in her treatment plan. She has accumulated a wealth of valuable clinical experience for the medical angels on the front lines of the protest. In addition, Dr. Xiangyi also created the mind-clearing Tai Chi exercise. Not only does it allow the patients to exercise their bodies, but it also relieves the patient's anxiety and pain, bringing a touch of bright color to the ward. For a time, the netizens were overjoyed. This is the best news I've heard in days. I'm tired of talking about it. Sister E is a hanger. I won't accept any rebuttal. Haha, why aren't those sour chickens jumping out just now? How many artists in the internal entertainment industry could get the official media to personally kiss up to them? You can count them with your fingers. In the ward, when the man heard the news that the female university student next to him had recovered, he felt like he had been struck by lightning. How is this possible? He was still here on an 4 drip, but Xiangyi had already cured him? Chapter 649. Although the expert who treated him was also very good and his health had improved, there would be no harm if there was no comparison. She was already alive and kicking, but he didn't dare to move around. It was especially inconvenient for him to go to the bathroom. If he had let Xiangyi treat him in the beginning, wouldn't he have recovered by now? It was too late for the man to regret it. He finally understood that he was a complete fool. The post posted by the female university student was reposted on Weibo, and coupled with the official media report in Shizhou, it could be said that it had slapped countless haters in the face. The netizens in China were having a great time watching the drama unfold. However, a blogger suddenly posted a set of photos. The photos came from one of the largest social media platforms abroad, and the content could be described as unsightly. Not only was it a distorted interpretation of the epidemic in Shizhou, but it also went as far as to attack the medical standards of China and even made people speechless. In an instant, the fandom sisters who had always been at odds with each other actually unified their battle lines in a matter of minutes. You want to compete with the fandom sisters? Forgive us for being blunt, but you people overseas are all trash. Hence, the foreign social media platforms were instantly taken over by the Chinese netizens. Let me see. There are all those orphans who are making noise. Go to the 4 streets of North, South, East, and West and find out who your father is. No way, right? No one really believes in these fake news, right? Are Chinese medicine dishes? I'm sorry, but the Chinese people have a history of 5,000 years, and there are many famous doctors. Countless Chinese medicine masters have helped the poor and helped the common people. How can you scumbags have the right to comment? After that, Netizens from all over the forums, Tieba, Weibo, and other social media platforms rushed over, using beautiful Chinese, English, German, Italian, and other languages to have a cordial and friendly exchange with the foreign netizens. At one point, the scene was very enthusiastic. As they quarreled, the Chinese netizens realized that there were fewer and fewer people online. What's wrong? Are they that weak? In the end, they realized that many foreign netizens had updated their posts. Oh my God! The mysterious Chinese food show has finally been updated. Oh my God! I've finally waited for the day when the witch's magical cuisine will be updated. Hamburgers, fried chicken, beer, and pasta are ready. Alice, the cute Chinese fairy, what food will she make this time? Oh my God! I'm so looking forward to it. What should I do? I'm already salivating. The Chinese netizens? What the hell? Is the witch's magical cuisine some kind of gourmet show? Why did it sound so childish? Who's Alice? A popular celebrity overseas? Everyone was puzzled until an international student solved the case for everyone. Let me explain. The witch's magic cuisine is the foreign translation of two under one roof. Actually, Sister E was very popular overseas. Everyone, from the elderly to the children, especially liked to watch her variety shows. In a sense, Sister E has already realized the export of gourmet culture overseas. All the netizens. The F*CK? Was Jianghu so proud of her countrymen? That international student then updated his status. Also, Jianghu's latest witch's magic dance also went viral on foreign social media today. There were many imitators. I've got at least a few dozen short videos today. The netizens curiously clicked on it and realized that it was Jianghu's fresh Tai Chi exercise? Tai Chi equals magic dance? There seemed to be nothing wrong with it? Chapter 650. When the news spread online, the netizens were dumbfounded at first, and then they couldn't help but burst into laughter. Jianghu, you're indeed amazing. Spicy Tutu was even more proud of herself. Cooking is known as magical cuisine and exercising is known as magical dancing. What does it mean to export Chinese cuisine and Tai Chi culture? It means that Sister E is Magical Girl Duck. Soon, the hashtag Magical Girl E became a trending topic on the internet. She clicked on it to see that there were all sorts of netizens' comments. Ah, this is hilarious. Is Jianghu really not going to consider becoming a comedian? Not only is Jianghu hilarious, her fans have also gone out of line a few times. They're Buddhist, silly, chunibyu, and positive. This is what a fan should be like. This joke is so magical. The little girl in my kindergarten has already started asking me how Sister Jianghu transformed. How should I answer her? I'm waiting for an answer online. It's urgent. It was lunchtime. The initial results of the treatment plan were evident, and the team of experts could finally sit down for a meal. Looking at his little granddaughter who had lost a lot of weight in just a few days, Xiang Yin's heart ached. Although he refused to say anything, his actions were very honest as he kept putting food into Xiang Yi's bowl. In addition, Fang Laoyan, Old Jing, and the others were also helping Xiang Yi to the dishes. The food in front of her had already piled up into a mountain. Xiang Yi didn't refuse and ate obediently. Her cheeks were full and round, making her look like a little hamster. By the way, the reporters from CCTV will be coming over for a few minutes later for a live broadcast. Old Mr. Fang was the most well-informed. He said smilingly, they'll probably focus on interviewing Xiang Yi. In the words of a young man, Xiang Yi was not only the most capable expert in the team of experts, she was also the most good-looking one. Xiang Yi said, "Oh." She then took a big bite of the beef patty. The reporters from CCTV happened to enter and captured this scene. Unlike the previous live broadcast of the news on the West Continent TV station, this time, it was a live broadcast that everyone in the country could watch. Hence, regardless of gender, age, or gender, all the viewers who were watching the news were struck by the sight of Xiang Yi eating the biscuit in one bite. The elderly, look at how hungry she is. She's at Grandpa and Grandma's house. The middle-aged man, she's eating so well. She's eating so. It would be great if she was his daughter. Young man, ah, so cute, I'm gone. What kind of peerless cutie is Sister E? Reporter Song, who came for the interview, saw this scene and had a hard time holding back his laughter. He secretly pinched his thigh and walked to the table. He first greeted the experts and then began the interview. First was the issue of the epidemic that the public was most concerned about. Elder Fong spoke on behalf of the representative and answered the reporter's question. Everything is going well. The future is promising. I only hope that the country will prosper and the people will be at peace. Then it was time to chat. Sure enough, Reporter Song pointed the microphone at Xiangyi. Dr. Xiangyi, is this biscuit delicious? How does it taste? He thought that the girl would act pitiful or complain. After all, she was still a little girl. It was indeed not easy for her to work so hard. Unexpectedly, the young girl gave a thumbs up. Fragrant, so fragrant. Puff. Whether it was the people at the scene or the audience in front of the screen, everyone burst into laughter. However, the girl rubbed her belly in a serious and embarrassed manner. I still want to eat one more. Is that okay? Chapter 651. In an instant, the audience. The netizens on the internet were all roaring in real time. Eat. Let sister eat. One is not enough. Eat more. No, I can't take it anymore. Nurse, hurry up and add some blood to me. Damn it, where are the medics? Give me an injection of insulin. With a sullen expression, Xiang Yin handed her a pancake and said in a fierce tone, eat. However, if one paid close attention, they would realize that the pancake he was holding was the largest one. Xiang Yi's eyebrows curved as she happily ate the pancakes. Reporter Song was stunned for a moment before he burst into laughter. Her response was really wonderful. Firstly, the public was concerned about the food standards of the medical staff who were fighting on the front line. The fact that Xiangyi was eating so happily proved that the medical staff didn't suffer from any hardship in terms of food. Secondly, she didn't complain at all, but it made people feel sorry for her and all the medical staff. She was so happy eating such an ordinary and simple meal, which was more touching than deliberately stirring up emotions. Reporter Song thought of another entry point and subconsciously changed the way he addressed Xiangyi. He asked in a gentle voice, Sister E, I heard that you've been very busy recently and don't have time to contact your family and friends. Is there anything you'd like to say? Our production team can pass the message on your behalf. Xiangyi blinked and asked, Can I only say it to one person? Reporter Song looked at the time of the live stream to see that there wasn't much time left. The TV station would probably cut off the live stream when it was time, but he could upload the video online. Hence, he said generously, anyone can do it. Hearing this, Xiangyi cleared her throat and looked at the screen. There seemed to be a faint moonlight in her clear and quiet eyes. Big brother, no matter how busy you are at work, don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. Second brother, you have to do regular rehabilitation and maintenance for your hands. Third brother, when you can't come up with a draft, don't go looking for inspiration on the tree. It's very dangerous. Fourth brother, if you train for more than an hour, you have to look out of the window. Otherwise, your eyes will hurt. Uncle, the peach trees and mulberries downstairs of your company should be ripe soon. Don't pick them secretly. It's not that they're poisonous, but they're decorative fruit trees. They taste awful. Third brother and I have already tasted them. The little girl was talking about trivial matters, but it was heartwarming and interesting. Surprisingly, the TV station did not cut off the live broadcast. On the contrary, he played this part in its entirety. Through the screen, Xiangyi's words struck a chord with countless people. In the past, everyone's understanding of doctors was more metaphysical. In fact, there was often negative news about doctors in society. Conflicts between doctors and patients happened from time to time. That was because ordinary people did not understand doctors at all. Now, he suddenly realized that doctors were also humans. There were also feelings of joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. There were also feelings of longing and such a cute and soft side. The corners of many people's eyes were slightly wet. However, he heard Xiangyi suddenly pause for 2 seconds. Then, she pursed her lips and lowered her eyes. Her black eyelashes trembled slightly. And, boyfriend, did you miss me? The audience. But aren't we watching Central TV News? Why was she being fed dog food? On the screen, the fair and beautiful girl mustered up the courage to look directly at the camera. Her eyes were like falling stars, bright and smiling. She said softly, "I missed you." After saying that, the little girl pretended to be calm. However, her soft and slender fingers, which were holding the beef patty, curled up shyly. Chapter 652. The audience was grinning from ear to ear. The fans of the untimely couple went crazy. The comment section was filled with the excited shouts of the couple's fans. "Oh, kill me to cheer up Shui and Sister E. It's too sweet, how can it be so sweet? Shui, did you hear that? Sister E is saying that she misses you. I'm about to pass out, is Jianghu shy? Don't delay the biscuits, they won't taste good when they're cold. Don't worry, we'll tell Shui about it for you." At the same time, in the live stream of Two Under One Roof, today's guest was the domineering CEO of the Xiang Corporation, Feng Feng. The fans complained that Li Jinyu was too good at saving money, but soon, they found out. The reason was that Xiang Feng was too hilarious. He climbed trees to fish, scratched his feet, and crossed his legs. It was so realistic. Besides, he was also a walking beeper, which happened to neutralize Shui's gentle and taciturn nature. The two of them had been live streaming for half a day, and even the Sui Feng couple had popped up. What should we do? Domineering COX Sui Feng is a demon. Do you think we can get married? The untimely couple sneered and looked down on everything. The untimely couple is the official match. The official wife is here, the other couples are all concubines. The Sui Feng couple was indignant. They had been brothers for many years, and during Shui's most difficult time, Xiang Feng was the one who reached out to him and signed him. In terms of age, Shui and Xiang Feng had known each other for several years longer than Shui and Xiangyi. However, when Shui turned on the TV to watch the live news, the comment section was instantly filled with comments about the untimely couple. The Sui Feng couple wept. "We were wrong after all." Xiang Feng was very noisy, and he was the type of person who could talk to himself and entertain himself, let alone when he was with Shui. He munched on potato chips and said smugly, "Our little Xiangyi is so beautiful. She can actually resist the HD filterless camera of CCTV." Everyone finally snapped out of their daze. Yeah. This was a live broadcast on Central TV. All kinds of demons and ghosts had to show themselves, but Xiangyi not only resisted, but also highlighted her delicate facial features. In the crowd, it was so white that it seemed to glow. The little girl was eating meat pies. In the living room, two men occupied the two ends of the sofa. One of them was smiling so widely that his eyes couldn't be seen, while the other's thin lips were slightly curved and his eyes were filled with love. When Xiang Feng heard the instructions to his family, he wailed and slapped his thigh. "Sob sob, little Xiangyi, you went to pick peaches and mulberries with Chi-Chi without me." Netizens? Feng Feng of the Xiang clan, isn't your focus a bit off? Shui's elbows and jawline were smooth as he leaned lazily on the sofa, looking extremely relaxed. But when he heard the words, "I miss you," his dark eyes lit up. It was as if the cold Milky Way was burning hot. Xiang Feng was dissatisfied. "Why don't you miss me? Am I not your favorite little uncle?" Next to him, Shui softly hummed and lowered her eyebrows. Her handsome face was blurred by the light and shadow, but her voice was clear and cheerful. "Yeah, I miss you too." Xiang Feng seemed to have been cast with a mute spell as the beeper went silent at this moment. A moment later, he let out an earth-shattering roar. "How cruel! Are you guys trying to trick a dog to come here and kill it?" The live broadcast room suddenly became a scene of a large-scale carnival. "Haha, you're indeed a team of bullies. Sisters, it's a double arrow of love. If you get it, you've earned it. I announce that the two newlyweds are officially husband and wife. Play the music. Dang 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 dang." Chapter 653. As for the Sui Feng couple, they hugged each other and cried on the spot. "Sorry, we're not worthy. The official couple is the best. Reporter Song was indeed a famous reporter. He could still maintain a smile even after being fed dog food. The director's voice came through the earpiece. Continue, we have 2 more minutes. The viewership ratings have gone through the roof. It wasn't just the viewership ratings. The online search index on the internet was also constantly increasing. The live broadcast website crashed because there were too many viewers in a short period of time. The production team deliberately made adjustments to get more time for the interview. Of course, the main focus was to interview Jianghu. Not only was it positive, but it also naturally revealed kinship and love. Which news reporter wouldn't love it? Reporter Song thought for a while and asked about Xiangyi's Tai Chi exercise. Sister E, your Tai Chi exercise has become popular overseas. Do you have anything to say about it? Xiangyi said embarrassedly, I can't say that it's mine. I adapted it based on some basic movements of Tai Chi. It's actually equivalent to radio gymnastics. It's mainly to let the patient move around and relax. I see. Reporter Song smiled and asked, I'm a little surprised. There aren't many young people who know Tai Chi these days. I just know a little. Why don't Sister E teach us a few self-defense Tai Chi moves? Xiangyi hesitated for a moment and said, Can I train? I have a simple version of Tai Chi exercise. Sure. Reporter Song thought that Tai Chi was not practical enough, so he didn't make things difficult for Xiangyi. The girl got up and casually got into position. Her every move was very simple and elegant. It was a combination of softness and softness, combining softness and agility with toughness. Her will, chi, form, and spirit were all in harmony, like flowing water. The audience was dumbfounded. Her movements are simple, but her aura is too strong. I'm shocked, I can feel the wind through the screen. Sister E can't really know martial arts, can she? That's all there is to it. If she wants to punch me, she'll have to kneel on the ground and beg me not to die. Even the experienced and knowledgeable Reporter Song was stunned. He had seen the representatives of several Tai Chi sects in the country. They were all people who had devoted themselves to cultivation for decades. Only then did they have the inner strength that was described in martial arts novels. But Xiangyi was so young, and he could feel her inner strength. He was so far away that his hair was blown by the wind caused by Xiangyi's movements. Could it be that she didn't teach him self-defense techniques because don't need it? After Xiangyi demonstrated a few movements, the audience applauded. The experts present all wanted to clap their hands until they broke into pieces and kept praising her. Our little disciple is really awesome. Disciples' Tai Chi moves are comfortable and broad. Hardness and softness complement each other, and the will and chi combine. Wonderful. Is there anything in this world that my beloved disciple can't do? My beloved disciple is too awesome. The little girl was a little embarrassed. She pursed her lips and said, It's not that powerful, expert team, of course not. Our obedient disciples are outstanding. Plain and simple, spacious and empty like a valley. Disciple, you don't have to be too humble. That's right, that's right. If anyone dares to say anything bad about you, I'll dissect a little rabbit for them to see. Everyone was talking at once. They really treated the little girl like a pearl in their palms. The audience was mesmerized on the spot. TSK, aren't you experts usually very serious? Why are you spoiling a little girl like this? Chapter 654. The atmosphere was joyous and harmonious. All of a sudden, the bell on the table rang. The experts who were originally relaxed immediately sat up straight with stern expressions. Some hurriedly wiped their mouths, some hurriedly tidied up their clothes, and some skillfully removed their wigs. At first, there were still some audience members who were puzzled and joked around. I'm going to be struck by lightning if I persuade people to learn medicine. Expert, I'm going bald in the path of medicine, but I've also become stronger. I suddenly realized that Xiangyi and Xiangyin have the best hair out of all of them. The Xiang family's genes are really impressive. Reporter Song was about to ask Xiangyi what happened, but he saw her striding out. Dr. Xiangyi, she looked back with her clear eyes calm and indifferent. She nodded at him slightly and said, Excuse me, Reporter Song was confused. Did she leave just like that? The other younger experts also left one after another. Eager to protect his disciple, Elder Jing supported himself with the table and got up. No, I have to go and take a look. I can't let my dear disciple tire herself out. However, after getting up, his body swayed a little. Reporter Song was quick to react and hurriedly supported him. Elder Jing's eyes were red with anger. If I were 10 years younger, this would be nothing. Nothing. Elder Yun sighed. They were now in the mood to practice medicine, but they didn't have the strength to do so. After days of hard work, Jianghu was the only one who could still run. The old men were already exhausted. The respected Elder Fang explained, "This bell means that there are patients in need of rescue." Reporter Song was suddenly enlightened. Forget it, let's go and take a look too. Even if we can't do it ourselves, we can at least give them some advice. Elder Fang waved his hand and continued, "We can't let the young people look down on us." Everyone supported each other and dragged their exhausted bodies, but their eyes were full of determination. Occasionally, the sound of experts arguing could be heard. "Old man, can you do it or not? You're already panting after taking a few steps? Weren't you very agile when you were snatching the braised pork balls just now? If you ask me, you Western medicine doctors should learn how to maintain your health too. What's wrong with wearing a wig? It's better than some of you wearing dentures." Reporter Song's throat rolled as he looked at the group of exhausted but cheerful experts. His emotions were churning and indescribable. It was because of this group of people that the problem could be solved. "Thank you all for your efforts." Reporter Song, who had always been eloquent, spoke dryly at this moment. He couldn't find the words to express his feelings. Our live broadcast today ends here. The live broadcast was interrupted, and the television began to broadcast other news. The audience in front of the screen remained silent for a long time. That scene was simply too shocking. Especially when Jianghu took the lead and walked out, her steps were so fast that it was as if she was walking on the wind. Her slender and thin figure carried far too much. No matter how cold-hearted a person was, he would feel from the bottom of his heart that, little girl, it really wasn't easy. On the internet, the spicy tutu girls were all crying. The moment our sister E rushed out without hesitation, it was so good to cry. Those who slander Sister E, listen up. She was not a vase fairy, nor was she a second-generation doctor. She was Dr. Jianghu. She was an angel. Oh my God, I'm watching the live broadcast of CCTV and two under one roof at the same time. Sure Sui's heart is aching. In the living room, Sure Sui's long eyelashes drooped and he didn't move for a long time. However, if one took a closer look, they would realize that his hands, which were hanging on the sofa, were clenched into fists. He was using so much force that his knuckles were pale. Chapter 655. Even the beeping machine, Xiang Feng, was drooping his head in dejection. In fact, he knew very well that although Xiang Yin supported his children and grandchildren to choose a career they were passionate about, he definitely wanted someone to inherit his medical skills. Unfortunately, he and Sangchen were really not interested in medical skills. Xiang Yi was a meticulous person. She could sense Xiang Yin's disappointment, so she had been following him around since she was a child. It was undeniable that she was indeed interested in medical skills, but more than that, she didn't want Xiang Yin to have no successor. When she was a child, Xiang Yi would often doze off while memorizing Chinese medicine prescriptions. Occasionally, when she encountered difficult problems that she couldn't figure out, she would secretly hide in a corner and cry. Xiang Feng still felt his heart ache when he thought about it. He thought that his niece would be happy when she grew up, but to his surprise, she seemed to have more worries and responsibilities. Xiang Feng sniffled and said sadly, "My little Xiangyi is working too hard. When you come back, I'll definitely buy you fried chicken, ice cream, and spicy strips." The netizens watching the live stream were appalled. What kind of dangerous statement is that? Mr. Xiang is in danger. Is he taking Sister E to eat garbage? How should I put it? Bullying is not without reason. Actually, Xiang Yin may be a little silly, but he's really nice to Sister E. He just wants to make Sister E happy. I feel like crying again. Xiang Feng turned his head and said with tears in his eyes, "Sway Sway, cry if you want to, you don't have to hold it in. Come, lean on Daddy's shoulder." Shi Sui raised her eyebrows in confusion. Xiang Feng said, "I'll call you Sway Sway and you can call me Daddy. We'll talk about our own things." Shi Sui responded with a smile. "Why don't I beat you up and you get beaten up by me? Isn't that fair?" Xiang Feng was dumbfounded. Seeing that Shi Sui had begun to roll up her sleeves, Xiang Feng began to run for his life. "Help, little Xiangyi, come back and save me." Shi Sui chased after him unhurriedly. "I'll keep you alive. Sister E can be saved anyway." Xiang Feng. The dignified and domineering Xiao actually ran so fast that his slippers fell off. For a moment, the audience gasped in amazement. "My eyes are moist and I'm holding back my tears." Smile? What was even more amusing was that as Xiang Feng ran, he picked a big tree and climbed up it. His movements were so skillful that those who heard it would shed tears and those who heard it would be heartbroken. Just how much experience did he have in taking a beating? Little Uncle's act of climbing trees to save his life is so practiced that it makes one's heart ache. I'm imagining him being chased and beaten up by Brother Damao and Brother Ermao. Feng Feng of the Xiang family is such a pitiful man. Help! Who still remembers that Xiang Feng is a domineering Xiu? Why isn't he smiling wickedly? There's no fan-shaped statistics in his eyes either. Shi Sui crossed her arms and said faintly, "Come down." Xiang Feng hugged the tree trunk and said in a trembling voice, "Come up." Shi Sui sneered. Xiang Feng trembled. He remembered that Shi Sui also knew how to climb trees. Boo-hoo, what if he climbs up too? Xiang Feng was suffering, but through the lush foliage he couldn't see the situation under the tree clearly. After waiting for a long time, there was no movement under the tree. Xiang Feng had an urge to pee, but he didn't dare to go down. Xiang Feng's imagination ran wild. Shi Sui must be waiting for me down there. If I go down now, wouldn't I be walking right into a trap? Boo! Little did he know that Shi Sui only stayed under the tree for a moment before leaving. The camera was still looking up at the tree, but the audience in the live stream couldn't stop laughing. I'm laughing so hard, huh? Chapter 656. Shocking, a certain domineering CEO is showing signs of atavism. Shi Yingdi is so black-bellied he left just like that. Mr. Xiang is so pitiful. Xiang Feng stayed on the tree for about 2 or 3 minutes before cautiously poking his head down to take a look. Where is she? He looked confused for a few seconds before regaining his composure. It's just an empty fort. Xiang Feng was like a detective deducing a crime scene. Sway Sway, you've underestimated me. The man's serious comical look was even funnier than a comedian racking his brains for a joke. The audience in the live stream once again burst into laughter. Help, someone save me, I'm dying of laughter. Xiang Feng, a perfect man who's funny, Mr. Xiang. Shi Yingdi really just left. He just left. Under everyone's gazes, Xiang Feng laughed wildly with his hands on his hips and sat down on the tree trunk, looking like he was going to stay on the tree until the end of time. About 10 minutes later, Li Jianyu couldn't hold back his laughter and said, "Mr. Xiang, Shi Sui has really left." Left? Xiang Feng crossed his arms and looked down at Li Jianyu with a domineering gaze. "Do you think I'll believe you? You're such a naive, stupid, and ridiculous man. Li Jianyu, keep scolding me." This scene also became one of the classic and famous scenes of Two Under One Roof, which was later rewatched by countless loyal fans. It was also one of the funniest clips of variety shows. Xiang Feng sat on the tree for a whole hour. The production crew found a ladder and went up to persuade him one by one. It took a lot of effort for them to persuade Xiang Feng to come down. 1 second, 2 seconds, after waiting for a full 10 seconds, Xiang Feng still didn't see Shi Sui come out to beat him up. He was stunned on the spot. She really left? At the same time, on Weibo, an unknown director released a clip of behind-the-scenes footage. It was a short promotional film about the fight against the plague. The film started with the family affairs of small characters and was shot in an extremely natural manner. It wasn't the kind that made people cry, but rather, it subtly touched the audience's heart. From beginning to end, the people who appeared were all unknown actors, extras, and members of the public. Even the director himself went up to make a cameo appearance. The only exception was Shi Sui. He played the role of a university teacher who taught online classes through the internet. He was wearing a cotton plaid shirt, and his glasses had been replaced with the most ordinary black-rimmed glasses, but it was still difficult to conceal his clean and handsome temperament. His slender and flawless fingers tapped the table twice, and his voice was gentle. "Hello, students. Please turn to page 79 of College Physics." In the behind-the-scenes footage, the young best actor had obviously used his original voice. His understanding of the lines was impeccable. Even though the scene was a little noisy, the man's pronunciation was still clearly heard by everyone. The Shi Sui sisters were thrilled to see this behind-the-scenes video. "Physics teacher, I can do it. Oh my God, our best actor has finally made it. Karma. There's no trace of her acting skills at all, she's so immersive." This video actually climbed to the top of the search list without any publicity. Jianghu, who saw this trending topic, gripped his phone tightly. Eating well for all 3 meals was going downhill. He heard that Muyao TV was already preparing to give up this show and replace it with a new variety show. Now his and Jiang Yun's reputation had been ruined, but why was Shi Sui living so smoothly? Zhui was so jealous that his eyes turned red. He switched to another account and found a blogger to expose. Chapter 657. In the rented apartment, he was playing games while shaking his legs. Ever since he started operating Weibo accounts such as Online Celebrity Peeler and Melon in the Field, he had earned quite a lot of money, but he squandered it all away. He either used it for online gambling or for top-up games. When he ran out of money, he would continue to post posts to slander celebrities and internet celebrities and make money off of them. However, after Peeler was mocked by the netizens a few days ago for defaming Jianghu, he was worried that Jianghu would retaliate. Hence, he had been keeping a low profile for a few days and only posted some trivial posts on Weibo. After playing games, he lit a cigarette and scrolled through the trending searches on Weibo to find material for today's post. A private message from a friend popped up in the lower right corner of his screen. Peeler opened it and found that it was a new piece of news from a netizen named Extraordinary Joie. It was not the first time that this netizen had exposed him, and each time, it was particularly explosive. Peeler had successfully gained popularity several times by relying on the netizen's posts. As soon as he saw his new post, Peeler's eyes lit up. His face was sallow and haggard because he had stayed up late. Half an hour later, Peeler's fans realized that he had updated his post. Online Celebrity Peeler v. I received news from a netizen that a certain best actor is suspected of being involved in illegal activities for receiving sky-high remuneration. Aren't the relevant departments going to investigate? Why should we pay our taxes so painstakingly while some people can evade them? The topic of paying taxes would make the headlines from time to time. The fact that celebrities paid taxes was the focus of countless people's attention. Upon seeing this Weibo post, all the netizens in the comments section began to imagine that the capital was online. Could it be that best actor I'm thinking of? The one on the trending searches? That's strange. His girlfriend is fair, rich, and beautiful, and he's from a wealthy family. That's unlikely. You probably don't know this, but SS' family had an accident. When he was 17 years old, his family's company was not well managed and he owed a large sum of money. He debuted to make money. Don't use abbreviations. I'm dying of curiosity. Is this Shi Sui? Super soft. The Shi Sui sisters immediately appeared to criticize him. Don't believe rumors, don't spread rumors, don't create rumors. Everyone, please pay more attention to Shi Sui's career. She is the triple gold best actor Sui, Kanglin TV Emperor Sui, 10 billion box office Sui, fashion darling Sui. Since the establishment of Time Studio, it has been paying taxes legally. Shi Sui herself has also supported public welfare projects many times. She has donated to poor mountainous areas, out-of-school children, deaf and mute schools, psychological institutions, and so on. Please don't disappoint those who truly do charity. However, Skinner smelled the scent of big gossip. He switched to another account and reposted the Weibo post he had posted, playing different roles. Sure, Indy would never do something like that. Trust him unconditionally. My whole family is shocked. SS actually paid sky-high fees and evaded taxes? Let's talk about the conspiracy theory. Could the 50 million donation to the West Continent also be to launder money? It's scary when you think about it. After a few accounts reposted it, the popularity of this Weibo post rose rapidly. Skinner was happily looking at the number of views on his website that was rapidly increasing. He was thinking that he could earn a lot of money today. Suddenly, a prompt box popped up on the screen. Frowny face, your account has been banned. Skinner, : At the same time, the director of the anti-epidemic short film said, "Thank you, Shui, for acting in my short film for free. I'm deeply touched and would like to express my deep gratitude." Chapter 658. TSK. The netizens who had been standing on the moral and legal high ground to judge Shui were shocked. This turn of events was too unexpected. After all, an A-list celebrity's salary and appearance fees would start at least $1 million for a short film. It turned out that it wasn't a sky-high salary, it was a zero-pay deal? Is this for real? Why am I so doubtful? How can there be an artist in the entertainment industry who doesn't earn money? Are you sure it's not a fake contract? On the surface, it's a zero-pay deal, but on the other hand, it's a sky-high price? The director replied to the comment about the fake contract. Please don't judge others based on preconceived notions. Perhaps such a phenomenon really exists in the industry, but I'm willing to guarantee with my life that Shui didn't take a single cent, not even the transportation fees. All the actors in the crew can testify. More and more people came forward. There were actors who had filmed the short film with him, as well as the scriptwriter and post-production staff. Even the takeaway boss who delivered the lunchboxes was full of praise for Shui. This young man is really handsome. He's polite too. The weather was bad after I delivered the takeaway and it was about to rain. He even gave me an umbrella. The public opinion shifted from one side to the other. However, this time, it was positive public opinion. There were also people in the industry who revealed that not only did Shui get zero pay this time, but all the public welfare projects that he had participated in previously had all been for zero pay. Not only that, the director who had given him a chance at the beginning of his debut also charged him a discount when he acted in the director's work after he became popular. When his friend asked him to save the scene, he did it without hesitation. Only then did the netizens realize that Shui seemed to not only be good at acting, but he also had a good character. Everyone was relishing in the gossip, and some people even gossiped that the city Shui was filming in today was quite close to Shizhou, but they were soon mocked by the netizens. What kind of joke was this? Would Shui go to see Jianghu if it was close to the city? Would the almighty Shui be so lovey-dovey? At this moment, in the nanny van, Shui's long legs were crossed, and his slender fingers were knitting something. The tablet was casually placed to the side, and on the screen was Si Chuanbai's expressionless face. He went straight to the point. I've already dealt with the blogger who spread rumors about you on Weibo today. He's the only one with the internet celebrity skinning accounts. Shui replied calmly, yes. Si Chuanbai saw that his reaction was normal, so he added, he often slandered Sister E, but his computer skills are very good. He even filled in his information from overseas. It took a lot of effort to successfully report him. I've sent the details to Mr. Sanction, and he said that he will personally write the legal documents. Nowadays, spreading rumors didn't come without cost. At the very least, they had to publicly apologize. If it was any other artist, they probably wouldn't have been so calculative. Unfortunately, he had provoked a certain crazy sister protector. Shui frowned. Are there many people who slander Sister E? They've all been reported. Si Chuanbai was speechless. You don't even care if I'm slandering you, but why do you change when I mention Sister E? Tithe, there are still two faces. Okay, I'll do as I see fit. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Shui picked up the tablet and was about to end the video call. Si Chuanbai inadvertently caught a glimpse of the colorful yarn at the man's fingertips and exclaimed in surprise. You're knitting? Chapter 659. It's not. Si Chuanbai heaved a sigh of relief. The next second, he heard Shi Sui say casually, it's a hair clip. Si Chuanbai was confused. What was that? Was it the hair clip that he understood? It's for Sister E. Shi Sui tapped her fingers and sent a few photos to Si Chuanbai. It was the most popular knitted hair clip with bright colors and cute patterns. The other kids have one, but Sister E has to have one too. Si Chuanbai looked at the strawberry hair clip, bunny hair clip, and snow white hair clip and fell silent. I'll continue. Goodbye. Shi Sui hung up calmly. Si Chuanbai paused for a few seconds and asked Nan, hey, little colorful hair. In the office, Nan was using his laptop to chat with the netizens. His speed and ability to spit out vulgarities was amazing. However, while the netizens were ferocious with their keyboards, the real Nan sucked on a lollipop and let out a cute ah. Si Chuanbai told him about Shi Sui knitting the hair clip and showed him the photos. This thing only costs a few yuan online, right? Do you have to knit it yourself? Nan said. This is probably why you can't find a girlfriend. Si Chuanbai raised his eyebrows. Oh. Don't you think it's sweet? Nan's tone was angry. Sugar. It's sugar. Who would be able to resist making something for the person they like? Is that so? Nan clicked on #untimely hashtag and taught Si Chuanbai how to make sugar. Come, I'll teach you how to make sugar. What's the essence of making sugar? First, it's eye contact. Second, it's conversation, and third, it's details. But the real sugar is when two people are not in the same frame and can make a lot of sugar. We usually call this realm a sugar lover. Si Chuanbai pushed up his glasses with his fingers and took notes with a serious expression on his face. From time to time, he would make a few notes. In the room with the humidifier on, the water vapor was dense. Si Chuanbai, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, and Nan, who was relaxing and exercising, were very close to each other. After nightfall, it began to rain in the West Continent. The patients who were sent over had all received effective treatment. However, no cure had been found yet. All the experts were at a loss. It was rare for them to have some free time. Sleep had become a luxury that made every second count. Most people went to rest. However, Jianghu didn't rest. Instead, she sat by the window of the resting room and flipped through the electronic files of the ancient medical book with a focused expression. The electronic file was a photocopy of the picture. There were no punctuation marks, and it was still in traditional Chinese. Most people would find it difficult to even break out a sentence, but Jianghu did not have any reading difficulties at all. She browsed through it at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly, her fingertips paused and she read it carefully a few more times. Her round eyes became brighter and brighter. Found it. The girl hurriedly took a screenshot and sent it to the newly created group of experts. She also summarized her reading notes and sent them out. Suddenly, the long-awaited system notification sounded in his mind. Host, the male lead is downstairs. Xiangyi was stunned for 2 seconds. Then, she pulled open the curtains and looked at a thin and tall figure through the pitter-patter of rain and the dark and silent night. Thump, thump, her heartbeat suddenly quickened. Xiangyi was so helpless that her fingertips curled up. Buzz, 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 her phone vibrated. She glanced sideways and saw the name on the screen. Triplet boyfriend Red Heart. Chapter 660. The video call was connected. After a moment of darkness, Shi Sui's face appeared on the screen. Xiangyi blinked, not knowing what to do. She waved her hand clumsily and said, "Hi." Shi Sui's surroundings were dim. He stood under the street lamp, wearing a dark black sweater, which made his skin look cold and pale. The dim yellow light cast a gentle and clear silhouette on his entire person. Shi Sui said gently, "Hello." Xiangyi said, "Told." Shi Sui's eyebrows arched deeper. "Did our sister eat well?" Xiangyi felt a little guilty, but she still said, "Yes, yes." "What did you have for dinner?" Xiangyi couldn't answer. She mumbled, "Oh," and tried to muddle through with her cuteness. I I ate a lot at noon. The beef patties are very fragrant. I'll cook them for you when I get back. Shi Sui sighed, but he didn't expose her. He just responded softly. Aren't you cold? The man asked in a low voice. Be careful not to catch a cold. The girl on the screen was only wearing a milky white short-sleeved shirt. It was a loose-fitting version, probably for ease of movement. However, in this rainy summer night, she looked cold and slender. Jianghu immediately jumped onto the single bed and wrapped the small blanket tightly. I won't be cold like this. Shi Sui said, Sister E is so good. Jianghu shook her little legs. She was praised. Jianghu was a little nervous at first, but because of Shi Sui's silent comfort, she gradually calmed down. She chatted with Shi Sui for a while. It was obviously nonsense, but inexplicably, she felt very warm and happy. Don't you think we're like an old married couple? Jianghu played with the small blanket. It seemed that her parents' interactions when she was young were also like this. She didn't know which word pleased Shi Sui, but the man's dark eyes were filled with a smile. He said softly, yes. Jianghu suddenly reacted. You didn't bring an umbrella? The drizzle soaked Shi Sui's hair. In his mind, the system's voice was bewitching. Host, you can give the male lead an umbrella now this way. Not only can you give him an umbrella, you can also increase his favorability. Jianghu, oh. The system was overjoyed. Finally. Is this woman finally going to do missions? This is great. The next second, Jianghu transferred a sum of money to Shi Sui. At the same time, Shi Sui's phone rang with a notification. AAA girlfriend has transferred 1 million yuan to you. Shi Sui, the system, Jianghu said with a serious face, I can't give you an umbrella. Otherwise, you'll be quarantined when you go back. It would even implicate Li Jianyu and Sister Wan. Sorry, can you go to the convenience store and buy an umbrella? Or should I order takeout for you? The system was about to vomit blood. No, host, an umbrella isn't that expensive, the girl ignored it. Her delicate porcelain face was flushed. Don't misunderstand. I don't mean to humiliate you with money. I want to give you pocket money, just like what her grandparents and brothers had given her. Her definition of pocket money since she was a child was, because her family loved her and she was loved. Unfortunately, Jianghu was the youngest, so she couldn't give others pocket money even if she wanted to. But today, she finally gave it to her boyfriend. Why aren't you saying anything? Jianghu was a little uneasy. Would this hurt Shi Sui's self-esteem? Was her boyfriend angry? Chapter 661. On the other end of the screen, Shi Sui pulled up his sweater and put on the hood to block out the shadows. His Adam's apple bobbed as unfamiliar emotions surged in his heart. But it was beautiful. Shi Sui had always been a supporter of equal rights between men and women. He wasn't a male chauvinist, so he didn't feel that Jianghu was insulting him or pitying him by giving him money. He really felt happy. When he was young, his parents lived apart. When he was young, his family changed. To Shi Sui, pocket money was an extremely luxurious thing. But little bunny gave him pocket money, such a gentle, soft and warm little bunny. If you don't like it, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, it's my first time in a relationship. It's my fault. Can you talk to me? The girl's clear voice came through the phone. Shi Sui finally raised his eyebrows. Those upturned peach blossom eyes seemed to be studded with stars, bright and burning. Thank you, Sister E. I'm very happy. Really? Jianghu breathed a sigh of relief. That's good, that's good. Shi Sui took out a few hair clips from his pocket. After all, it was his first time knitting, so the finished product was a little rough. He touched his nose embarrassedly. Do you like them? The man's joints were slender and well-defined, which contrasted with the hair clips. They're so cute. Did you buy them for me? The next second, Jianghu's phone vibrated. It was a message from Nan. Nan is also eating candy today. Sister E. Mr. C and I were in the middle of supper when he told me that Shi Ingdi had personally knitted a hair clip for you. Oh, it's too sweet, too sweet. My devil spicy hot and sour noodles have become sweet and spicy. Those hair clips were knitted for her by Shi Sui? The little deer in her heart seemed to be able to talk and kept pounding non-stop. Xiangyi blinked. Boyfriend, did you knit these for me? Shui noticed her action of replying to the message and joked. It seems that I've been betrayed by my teammate. As long as Si Chuanbai knew something, An Nan would definitely know. Xiangyi corrected him softly. Of course not. Xiangyi was very embarrassed, but she also wanted to express her feelings to Shui. She pulled the small blanket to cover most of her face and said in a low voice, I really like the hairpin you knitted for me. I also really like you. I can't take it anymore. The little girl's face quickly turned as red as a tomato, and she covered her entire face. Shui's eyes were deep and serene as she stared at the soft light through the curtain of rain. There were countless thoughts of not wanting to be a human in his heart, but he killed them all. I'll continue knitting. I hope Sister E can like me a little more. The man's tone was as gentle as jade, and it sounded very affectionate in the middle of the night. Xiangyi was so shy that her toes curled up. She quietly opened a gap and happened to make eye contact with Shui, who was smiling. Her ancestral arrogance was activated. The little girl's heart softened and she said stubbornly, I'm not looking at you, I just want to see the hairpin. I don't know how it'll look like after I put it on. Shui raised his eyebrows. Then let me help you try it on? Xiangyi was stunned. The man looked down and slowly put the little rabbit, strawberry, and snow-white hairpins on his head one by one. He looked up and his thick and long eyelashes fluttered, making him look like a charming demon. Even the surrounding scenery instantly became lively. Are you satisfied? Imei,